Good morning, my dear friend. As the first light of dawn begins to stretch gently across the horizon, wrapping the earth in its soft embrace, I welcome you into this sacred space. There is something holy about this hour, this quiet, golden breath of morning, when the world is still hushed, when even time seems to pause. The streets have not yet filled with the noise of demands. The notifications have not yet flooded your screen. It is just you, the rising sun, and the silent stirrings of your soul. And in this moment, more than any other, heaven feels near. It is here, at the very start, that something sacred can begin. Perhaps you are here because your heart has been aching in ways you cannot put into words. Maybe you have been walking through the motions, carrying the weight of disappointments that no one else sees. Maybe last night you stared at the ceiling, wishing sleep would take you away from the questions that looped through your mind. There is a kind of pain that does not scream, but simply lingers. A quiet ache that lives behind a steady face. A smile that hides the war behind the eyes. You may know exactly what that feels like. I think of the woman who sat alone in her parked car outside her workplace last week, hands gripping the steering wheel as tears fell freely. She had just received the news. The treatment had not worked. The doctor said the cancer had spread. Her strength, already worn thin, felt like it would shatter with one more word. Yet still, she went inside. She smiled. She did her job. She laughed with others. But inside, she was collapsing, not from the diagnosis, but from the silence that followed. The unanswered prayers, the sense of abandonment. She asked, "Where is God in all this?" Not with anger, just exhaustion. You may not have the same story, but maybe your soul recognizes that kind of despair, that slow unraveling, that hollow echo that whispers in the early hours, telling you nothing will ever change. But my dear friend, if that is where you are, I want to say something with the weight of eternity behind it. You are not alone. You are not unseen. You are not forgotten. And most of all, you are not powerless. There is power when we pause. There is power when we speak, when we choose not to surrender to silence, but to step into sacred conversation. Prayer is not a performance. It is not a ritual reserved for the flawless. Prayer is a return. It is a coming home. It is the soul's defiant whisper in the face of fear that says, "I will not let go of hope." This morning is more than a page on the calendar. It is a doorway. And on the other side of that door stands the one who has been waiting not with judgment, but with open arms. You do not have to bring perfect words. You do not have to clean up your heart first. You only have to bring your honesty, your willingness, and the pieces of your faith, however broken they may feel. You see, faith does not always roar. Sometimes, it is a quiet breath, a whisper of, "Help me," and that is enough to move the heavens. So I invite you now, not as someone who has all the answers, but as someone who knows the weight of questions, to enter into this divine dialogue. This is not just a time of prayer. It is a journey of realignment, of healing, of learning to hear again, to feel again, to believe again. Let the silence of this morning become the canvas for a new beginning. Let your soul lean forward. Let your heart exhale. And let us begin, not with fear, but with faith. For something sacred is awakening in you, and it begins now. Dear Heavenly Father, in this quiet moment before the world fully wakes, I come to you with a heart that is heavy and unsure. The morning light touches the edges of the sky, but inside me, there is still a shadow that lingers. I do not come pretending to be strong today. I do not come with eloquent words or polished prayers. I come because I do not want to start another day without you. I come because something deep in me knows that before I speak to the world, I need to speak to you. There is a weight in my chest that I cannot name, a silence in my spirit that I cannot shake. I wake up with thoughts racing ahead of my breath, responsibilities pressing against my ribs before I even get out of bed. I carry burdens I never asked for and questions I still cannot answer. I smile when I need to. I perform when I must, but underneath the surface I feel undone. There are moments when I want to run, moments when I want to give up, moments when I wonder if you see me here really see me, or if my quiet battles are invisible even to you. But still, I whisper your name, not because I am sure of everything, because deep down I hope you are near. I need to believe that you are close, not just in the high places, not just in churches or quiet sanctuaries, but here, in my bedroom, in my mind, in this breath. I need to know that you are not waiting for me to fix everything before I can find you. I need to know that this ache I carry is not too messy to bring to you. So here it is, all of it. My fear, my fatigue, my failure, my quiet disappointment, my unspoken grief. I place it all before you. I do not ask for the pain to vanish or the answers to come immediately. I ask instead for the strength to stay in this moment with you. Let me not rush past this space. Let me not distract myself from what I feel. Let me sit with it, but not alone. Sit with me, God. Be the stillness in my shaking. Be the warmth in my cold places. Be the breath I forget to take when anxiety steals the air from my lungs. Today, I am not seeking to conquer mountains. I am not chasing after perfection. I simply want to be present, to be held, to be known, to be reminded that even in my weakest moments, I am still yours. I want to start this day from that place, not from performance, not from fear, but from presence. I want to know that even if the rest of the day unravels, I began it anchored, I began it seen, I began it loved. There are things I cannot carry anymore, expectations that have become chains, regrets that replay like broken records, voices in my mind that echo doubt louder than truth. I surrender them now, not because I am brave, but because I am tired. I lay them at your feet, asking you to trade my heaviness for peace, my confusion for clarity, my fear for faith, even if that faith is as small as a seed. I do not need certainty today. I just need enough hope to keep going, enough strength to get up, enough grace to believe that you are still writing something beautiful in the midst of what feels broken. You know my heart better than I do. You know the moments I pretend to be okay when I am not. You know the people I miss, the prayers I have stopped praying, the dreams I have quietly buried. I do not want to fake joy today. I want to find it again. I want to know that even in the middle of my mess, there is still music in the distance. I want to know that I can still be made whole, even after all that has been chipped away. So I begin here, with this breath, this prayer, this whisper. I do not know what this day will hold, but I know who holds me. I do not know what I will face, but I ask that whatever it is, I will not face it alone. Walk with me in every hour. Let your presence be my compass, not just my comfort. Let your truth be louder than my fear. Let your peace meet me in the places where anxiety used to live. If I fall today, remind me that I can rise again. If I doubt, remind me that even Thomas touched your hands. If I question, remind me that you are not offended by my honesty. You welcome it. You meet me in it. And if all I can do today is breathe and whisper your name, let that be enough. Let that be holy. Let that be sacred ground. I give you my attention now, not as a task to complete, but as a gift to offer. I will not rush past this moment. I will not pretend to have it all together. I will not wait until I feel perfect to pray. This is my beginning, Lord, and I believe that even this small beginning holds power, because you are in it. Let this prayer be my first step. Let it be the light that breaks through the fog. Let it be the turning of my heart toward hope. I may still feel uncertain. I may still feel weak, but I do not need to be perfect to be present. And I do not need to be fearless to be faithful. I only need to say yes to you right here, right now, in the stillness of this sacred dawn. Lord, I come to you again, because I cannot hold this in any longer. I have tried. I have smiled when I wanted to scream. I have laughed when I wanted to collapse. I have kept moving, convincing myself that strength looks like silence, that faith looks like pretending, that if I just act like everything is okay, maybe someday it will be. But the truth is, I am tired of carrying this pain behind my teeth. I am tired of pretending that I am not breaking in places no one sees. And so today, I bring you not my mask, but my face, not my rehearsed words, but my raw honesty. If you are truly near to the brokenhearted, then come close to this heart now, because it is aching in ways I can no longer hide. I do not even know when the sorrow began. Maybe it started as a small crack in the wall of my heart, a tiny disappointment I buried, a word that wounded me deeper than I admitted, a goodbye that never truly felt finished. I layered over it with business, with distractions, with forced joy. But grief does not vanish when ignored. It waits. It lingers. And now, Father, it is rising like water behind a dam. I feel it pressing against the places I tried to seal off. I feel it creeping into my thoughts, stealing rest from my nights and clarity from my mornings. I have feared what might happen if I let the sorrow speak. I have worried that if I open the door, it will flood everything. But this morning, I am realizing something deeper, that you are not afraid of my pain. You do not back away from my brokenness. You do not ask me to clean up before I approach you. You invite me, even in this, especially in this. So I open the door now, not to despair, but to you. I let these tears fall. not as signs of weakness, but as an offering. Every drop is a confession, not just of sadness, but of trust. I believe you can handle my truth. There are words I have not said, and emotions I have not named, but you see them, do not you? You see the way I linger on certain memories, the way I flinch at familiar voices, the way a scent or a song can undo me without warning. You see how hard I try to be okay for everyone else, how much I carry without complaint. But God, I do not want to just survive. I want to heal. I want to breathe again without bracing for what might go wrong next. I want to walk through a day without the shadow of sorrow following every step. And I know that healing starts here, not in hiding, in unveiling. I do not bring blame. I do not bring accusations. I bring what is mine, the questions, the longing for comfort. I bring the parts of me that feel fragile and the memories I still do not know how to hold. I bring the weight of unsaid goodbyes, of dreams that never grew, of doors that closed without explanation. And I lay them before you because you are the only one who can hold them without turning away. You are the only one who knows how to hold a human soul when it is unraveling. God, I need you to meet me here, not in the answers, but in the not with solutions, but with your nearness. Let your presence be the soft place where I fall apart. Let your love be the arms that wrap around what I cannot carry anymore. Let your gentleness be the voice that tells me I am still loved, even in this mess, even in this moment. I do not need a miracle yet. I just need to know you are near, that you are not disappointed in me for feeling so much, that I am not a burden to you, even when I cannot explain why I cry. I know people mean well when they tell me to be strong, to move on, to count my blessings, and I do. I do see the beauty still around me. But right now, I also need space to mourn what I have lost, to grieve what never was, to acknowledge that some wounds do not vanish with time. They require tenderness, attention, and a place safe enough to be vulnerable. I am choosing to believe that this morning with you is such a place. Let this be the hour when I stop pretending. Let this be the moment when I stop suppressing what my soul has tried so hard to contain. Let this be the sacred space where I fall apart without shame, where tears are not failure but release, where pain is not proof of weakness, but a doorway to deeper intimacy with you. I want to be honest here, Lord. Not polished, not composed, just real. Let this prayer be my cry for help, for comfort, for something more than just endurance. I do not know what healing will look like. I do not know how long the will remain. But I do know this. I do not want to walk through it alone. I do not want to pretend anymore. I want to heal from the inside out, not just survive the outside in. So I give you permission to come close, to speak into the silence, to place your hand on the parts of me I have hidden from even myself. I want to let you into the pain, not just the praise, into the not just the achievement, into the sorrow that still lingers, not just the parts of me that have moved on. There is something in me, Lord, that still believes, even as I sit in the sadness, even as I speak through the tears. I feel something small rising, hope, perhaps, or faith, or maybe just the tiniest sense that you have not forgotten me. And maybe that is where healing begins, not in immediate joy, but in knowing I do not weep alone. That somewhere in the stillness, you are sitting beside me. That you are not rushing me to move forward, but holding space for me to feel. That is holy. That is sacred. That is enough for now. So I stay here, not because I am weak, but because I am finally strong enough to stop pretending. I stay here with you, not to be fixed, but to be known, not to explain away my sorrow, but to let it breathe in the light of your presence. And as I stay, I begin to feel the dam crack, not in destruction, but in release, not in chaos, but in grace. You are here. And that changes everything. God, as I sit in this stillness, with the weight of sorrow having finally found space to breathe, I realize something else has begun to stir. It is faint, almost imperceptible, a flicker where only emptiness seemed to be. Maybe it has been there all along, waiting quietly beneath the heaviness, beneath the grief, beneath all the forgetting. It is not loud, it is not bold, but it is something, a soft remembering, a whisper that I have felt you before. And so, I let myself go back, not to relive pain, but to recall presence. I think of the moments I once felt so sure of you, when faith came easily and joy was light in my chest. I remember the times when worship was not forced and hope was not a question mark, but a certainty. When my soul used to dance in the morning light and trust came like breathing. What happened to that version of me? Where did I lose that flame? Father, I do not say this with shame. I say it with longing. I want to remember what it was like to walk with you, not as a duty, but as a delight. I want to find the trail back to that place, the quiet path where my spirit used to meet yours in the simplest of ways. When a verse could open something inside of me. When the sound of your name was enough to bring me to tears, not from pain, but from love. When my heart leapt at the thought of your nearness. I want to remember, not because the past was perfect, but because in those sacred moments, I was alive in a way that I miss. There are memories I had forgotten until now, times when you spoke through silence, when you answered without words, when peace came without explanation. Like the morning I sat on the back steps watching the sun rise, and the warmth on my skin felt like you saying, I see you. Or the time I wept in a room full of strangers, and somehow I knew you were the only one who truly understood what I could not say. Those moments did not fix everything, but they reminded me I was not alone. And now, even as I sit in the echo of that old I feel the ember of those memories warming again. Lord, I know the flame has dimmed, but it has not died. It has not been extinguished. It has only been buried beneath layers of disappointment, time, and distraction. And today, I choose to dig. I choose to uncover the parts of me that still long for you. The parts that still believe you are good, even when life is not. The parts that want to hope again, want to sing again, want to feel the rush of your presence rushing in like wind across dry ground. Breathe on the embers in me, God. Stir what has been still. Let the remembering awaken what I thought was gone. I do not expect to return instantly to where I was. I do not seek to manufacture emotion or recreate moments. I simply ask you to meet me in this remembering. Let the flicker become warmth again. Let the warmth become flame. I do not need fireworks. Just fire, a steady burning, a sacred returning. I ask for holy reminders, God, not just of what you have done, but of who you are. Remind me that you have never changed, even when I did. Remind me that you were faithful then, and you are still faithful now. I think of how a child remembers the scent of home, the tone of a parent's voice, the feeling of being held. I want to remember you like that. I want my soul to recognize you not as an idea, but as someone I have known, someone I still know, someone who never left. I believe that even in my forgetting, you remembered me, even in my silence. You stayed, even when I stopped seeking. You never stopped loving, and that truth is more than enough to spark hope again. If there is anything that still burns inside me, let it be the memory of your presence. Let it be the unshakable truth that you are the same yesterday, today, and forever. Let it be the faith that rises from the ashes, not because I have figured everything out, but because I have remembered who I belong to. You are not distant, even when you feel far. You are not silent, even when I cannot hear. You are not gone, even when I forget to look. And now I turn my eyes toward you once more. God, help me return to wonder. Help me walk slowly enough to notice your fingerprints again in the sky, in the trees, in the breath I did not notice I was holding. Let me hear you in laughter, see you in kindness, feel you in the quiet that no longer feels empty. Let me not chase what was, but be open to what is. Let me welcome the flame in its new form. Even if it looks different than it once did, let me receive what you are doing now, not just cling to what you did then. I know that flame does not depend on my feelings. It is not tied to circumstance. It is not weakened by time. It is sustained by you. And so even when I cannot stir it on my own, I ask you to breathe again. Fan what is faint. Restore what is real. Let the flame grow not for show, but for shelter. Not for display, but for direction. I do not need to burn brightly for others to see. I need to burn deeply so I do not lose my way. You are the keeper of every spark, the guardian of every soul that once burned with passion and now longs to feel again. You know how to kindle what seems lost. You know how to bring warmth back to frozen places. So I trust you with this heart of mine, with this remembering, with this sacred process of returning. I am not asking for revival in the world before you revive me. Let the fire start here. There is something holy in remembering. It reminds my soul that I was not always lost, that you have met me before, and you will meet me again. That even in my forgetting, something eternal remembers you, that deep within me, beneath the dust and discouragement, there is a spark that never fully went out. And that is where I begin today, not in strength, but in remembering, not in certainty, but in hunger. And maybe that is how the flame finds air again, by naming the H, by whispering, I remember, by daring to believe you are not finished with me yet, Father, if remembering was the first step back, then now I ask for something deeper. I ask to hear you again, not as a memory, not as a distant echo from another season, but in this moment, in this stillness, in this breath. I know you speak. I know you have never gone silent. Not truly, but I also know that my heart has grown noisy. I have let other voices grow louder than yours. I have let distraction fill the space where your whisper used to dwell. I have moved so quickly, thought so endlessly, carried so much, that even when you speak, I no longer recognize the sound. And yet, something within me still longs to hear. Something quiet, but persistent, like a child pressing an ear against a door, hoping to catch even one familiar word. I lean in now with that kind of expectation. I want to tune in again. I want to clear the static, to find the frequency of your heart, not because I need instructions or solutions, but because I need communion. I need connection. I need the simple reassurance that you are still speaking, and that I still know how to listen. Lord, my mind is often too full of what-ifs, full of regrets, full of plans and projections. But now, I lay all of that down. I do not want to fill this space with my own voice. I want to create a space where yours can rise. I want to hear not just what you might say, but how you say it. I want to sense the tone of heaven again, the gentleness, the wisdom, the weight of words that do not pass away. Let my soul become quiet enough to notice when you speak. Let my heart become still enough to respond when you whisper. There is a difference between hearing and truly listening. I do not want to miss the subtle ways you move. I do not want to be so focused on thunder that I overlook the breeze. You are not always found in the loud or the dramatic. Sometimes you come in soft impressions, in still moments, in unexpected nudges. I ask for sensitivity to those sacred movements. Train my spirit to notice. Sharpen my awareness. Let me not be so determined to hear you my way that I miss you your way. God, help me surrender my expectations. Sometimes I expect you to sound like clarity when you speak through mystery. Sometimes I expect you to sound like answers when you are offering presence. I have prayed before and heard nothing, or so I thought. But maybe I was not silent long enough. Maybe I did not wait. Maybe I was looking for you in the wrong direction. But today, I wait differently. I lean in, not demanding, but desiring, not striving, but trusting. I believe that you do not hide from the seeking heart. I know your voice may not always change my circumstances immediately, but it will always change me. And that is what I need most. I need my inner world to be rearranged by truth. I need the noise inside me to be quieted by wisdom that does not come from me. I need to stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios and begin rehearsing what you have promised. I need the sound of your truth to be louder than the whispers of fear. Lord, I confess there are times I have mistaken silence for absence. Times I believed you were gone simply because I did not hear you in the way I expected. But faith teaches me that you are always near. That even when you seem quiet, you are watching, guiding, waiting for my soul to be ready. And maybe now, in this early morning quiet, I finally am. Ready not just to speak, but to listen. Ready not just to move, but to be still long enough for you to move within me. I remember when I was younger in faith, how clearly I felt your leading, how deeply I trusted each nudge. Somewhere along the way, life became more complicated, and so did my ability to discern. But I do not believe that connection has been lost. I believe it has only been buried beneath the layers of adulthood, anxiety, and overthinking. And just like you reminded me of the flame, now I ask you to restore the frequency. Help me find the signal again. Help me recalibrate. Let every distraction fade for this moment. Let every competing voice fall silent. I give you the space to speak in whatever way you choose. Whether through a scripture that rises in my heart, a phrase I cannot shake, or a stillness that somehow feels like peace. Let me not rush past this quiet. Let me not miss the treasure buried in silence. I believe you are here, even now. And if you are here, then surely you have something to say, even if that something is just your presence pressing in like light against closed eyelids. I have asked you for many things, but this is perhaps the most important. Teach me again how to recognize the sound of your heart. Let your voice become familiar again, like the comfort of a loved one calling me home. Let it pierce through the confusion. Let it rise above the noise. Let it anchor me in days that feel unstable. Your voice is not harsh. It does not shame. It does not accuse. It draws. It lifts. It builds. It heals. And I need that healing now. Father, when I feel lost, remind me that your voice still leads. When I feel overwhelmed, remind me that your whisper can settle storms. When I feel unworthy, remind me that you still speak to me not because I have earned it, but because you are good. You are not a distant God. You are near, and your nearness is not based on my perfection, but on your love. So let this be the moment where the dialogue reopens, where prayer becomes less about output and more about intimacy. Less about me trying to make something happen, and more about me learning how to be with you again. I may not hear a loud word. I may not receive an immediate direction, but I believe something is happening in the quiet, that the static is fading, that the noise is dimming, that the space between my heart and yours is drawing closer. Let your voice echo through me, not just in words, but in peace. Let it shape how I see, how I move, how I love today. Let it be the guiding sound beneath all other sounds, the frequency that never fails. I do not need it to be dramatic. I just need it to be real, even if it comes in a single breath, a holy hush, a sudden clarity that reminds me I am not walking alone. You are still speaking. You have always been. And now, I am finally still enough to listen. Father, now that I have remembered how to listen, really listen, I realize how much I have been holding onto without even knowing it. There are pieces of me I have tried to keep in place, outcomes I have tried to orchestrate, situations I have tried to manage, as if their weight belonged to me alone. And though I say with my lips that I trust you, sometimes my actions tell a different story. They tell of a heart that hesitates to release control, a heart that quietly fears what surrender might cost. But this morning, I no longer want to carry the burden of control. I want to place it down, piece by piece, here in your presence. Lord, it is not that I do not believe you are trustworthy. I do. It is just that letting go feels risky when I have spent so long trying to keep things from falling apart. Somewhere along the way, I began to think that if I did not manage it, it would all collapse. But I see now what that mindset has cost me: peace, clarity, rest. The striving never stops when surrender never starts. And I am tired of waking up already bracing for a day that has not happened yet. So I come to you with open hands, or at least, I am trying to open them. Some things I release easily, others I am still gripping tightly. But even that, I bring to you. The desire to surrender, even if I have not figured out how. I lay before you what I cannot fix, what I cannot carry, what I was never meant to control. I lay before you my timeline, my to-do list, my plans that I crafted to give me security. And I ask you now to gently take them, not with force, but with the same mercy you always meet me with. Let today be different, Lord. Let today begin not with pressure, but with permission. Permission to be led instead of constantly leading. Permission to trust your rhythm instead of rushing through mine. I do not want to keep making decisions from a place of fear or scarcity. I want to make them from faith. I want to move because you move, not because anxiety pushes me. I want to respond to your prompting, not react to pressure. And I know that kind of life begins not with effort, but with surrender. It is not that I want to do nothing. I simply want to stop doing everything, as if it all depends on me. There is a way to work from rest, to live with purpose without panic, to be productive without becoming consumed. Teach me that way. Show me how to walk in step with you, to flow in the direction of your spirit. Let my first action today be a quiet yielding, a holy letting go, not because I am giving up, but because I am giving it to you. God, I give you my expectations, the ones I have wrapped too tightly around my identity, the ones that tell me I am behind if I do not meet them, the ones that whisper I have failed if things do not go as planned. I release them now. They are too heavy, too loud, too limiting. Let your desires shape my path instead. Let your wisdom define success for me. Let your timing replace my obsession with the clock. I also surrender the conversations I cannot control, the misunderstandings I have tried to fix, the people I have tried to please. I cannot manage every perception. I cannot heal every relational fracture. I cannot force anyone to see my heart. So I entrust it all to you, the unresolved tensions, the unspoken wounds, the weight of trying to be understood. Be the one who sees me clearly when others do not. Be the one who holds the truth when I cannot defend it. And then there is the fear, the quiet, nagging fear that if I surrender fully, I will lose something essential. That letting go means things will slip through the cracks. But now I see, the cracks I fear are often the openings you use to let grace in. Maybe it is not about everything holding together. Maybe it is about who holds me when things do not. And you always do, even when life feels uncertain, even when outcomes shift, even when everything I planned unravels without warning. I have come to realize that control is not the same as safety, and control is not the same as wisdom. Sometimes, it is the very thing that keeps me from the deeper peace you are offering. So take from me the illusion that I need to manage what only you can govern. Strip away the pressure to perform. Dismantle the pride that says I know best. Let humility rise in its place, not the kind that shames me, but the kind that frees me. I do not surrender today to escape responsibility. I surrender so I can walk in it rightly, so I can discern what is mine to carry and what is not, so I can live lighter, speak softer, love better, not from depletion, but from depth, from a place that has first been quiet with you. This surrender is not about losing identity. It is about remembering where my identity comes from, not from control, not from outcomes, but from you. Even now, I sense something beginning to loosen. Not everything, but enough to know you are at work. I may pick up these weights again before the day ends, but for now, I choose to set them down. I choose to believe that surrender is not defeat. It is a declaration of trust, and that trust does not make me smaller. It expands my capacity to receive, to hear, to respond, to live with a heart unburdened by what is not mine to hold. So here I am, Lord, hands no longer clenched, mind no longer racing, soul no longer striving to be enough on its own. I give you my beginnings. I give you what I cannot see. I give you what I thought I had to control. Let this day unfold, not by my script, but by your guidance. I may not know what it will hold, but I trust the one who holds it. Let peace take the space where worry once lived. Let grace fill the cracks that striving could never mend. Let surrender become not a one-time moment, but the way I walk, the way I breathe, the way I live, one quiet release at a time, one holy pause before every step, one whispered yes, again and again. Lord, now that my hands are no longer grasping for control, and my soul has begun to rest in your rhythm, I feel something shift inside me, not loud or sudden, but steady. Like a clearing in a thick forest, a space is opening in me that feels new. Or maybe it is not new at all, maybe it has always been there, buried under all the noise and motion and trying. Either way, I sense that it is time to do something with this space, not to fill it with more thoughts or tasks, but to consecrate it, to turn this quiet into something sacred, to build an altar in the center of my morning, where my spirit can meet you in stillness and in truth. Father, I do not bring fire or stone. I bring what I have my attention, my breath, my heart slowly awakening to the weight of your presence. This moment may seem ordinary from the outside. No incense, no choir, no stained glass or sanctuary. But I believe that you make anything holy when it is offered to you. And so I offer you this place, this hour, this inward room where I now sit, asking you to make it an altar, a place where something can be laid down and something divine can descend. I think of how altars were built in ancient days, not for decoration but for dedication, not for appearance but for encounter. They were not polished, they were raw, made of whatever the land could offer. Rocks, wood, earth. And so I bring the rawness of my life, the unpolished corners, the places not yet refined. I bring my real life, not just my spiritual longings. The parts that ache, the parts still restless, the parts learning how to love you more honestly. This is my offering. This is my altar. Let it rise to you as something real. Let this altar be the place where my desires are reshaped, where what I want begins to align with what you want for me. Let this be where I lay down impatience and pick up presence. Let it be where striving is exchanged for surrender, where bitterness is traded for blessing. Let this sacred space be where transformation takes root, not all at once, but slowly, deeply, like roots pushing down into the unseen soil. God, I ask that this altar not only live in this hour, but follow me into every part of the day. Let it shape how I speak, how I respond, how I listen, how I work, how I love. Let every moment be touched by what happens here. Let this be the fire that keeps me warm when the world turns cold. Let this be the clarity that centers me when confusion comes. Let this be the peace I return to when noise surrounds me. Because I know that what I build in stillness becomes the strength I carry into motion. I am not trying to impress you, Lord. I know you are not moved by performance. You are moved by presence. You are drawn to sincerity, to the soul that longs for you more than it longs for answers. So let this altar be built not with grand gestures, but with simple faith, with daily returning, with honest prayers, with room for your spirit to move however you choose. There are things I want to place on this altar today, not because I must, but because I need to. I place my comparison, how easily it steals my joy, how often it tells me I am not enough unless I measure up to someone else's progress. Beauty or success, I place it here, asking you to replace it with gratitude, with eyes that see the goodness in my own path, with peace that does not depend on others falling behind or cheering me forward. I also lay down distraction. How often I find my hands full of a phone, my thoughts racing toward what is next, my spirit absent from where I am. I place it down not in guilt, but in hunger for deeper presence, for genuine connection, for moments that are not filtered or fractured. Let this altar become the place where my focus is restored. Lord, I place my relationships here too, the ones that bring joy, the ones that bring pain, the ones that are growing, the ones that feel fragile. I give them all to you, asking you to be the center of them, to make them more than just human effort, but holy ground. Let my love reflect your love. Let my boundaries reflect your wisdom. Let this altar become the place where I stop trying to control people and start entrusting them to you. There are prayers I have stopped praying because the waiting wore me down. I bring those too. The prayers for healing, for change, for hope in places that have stayed dry for too long. I place them on the altar not to manipulate you, but to remind myself that you still move, that you still care, that delayed does not mean denied. I lay them down as seeds, believing you will water what is sown in faith, even when it is buried in silence. God, let this altar also be a place of joy, not just sacrifice. not just surrender, but joy that rises from the knowledge that I am held by you, that I am seen, even when I feel invisible, that I am pursued, even when I grow distant, that I am chosen, not because I am worthy, but because you are love. Let that joy not be loud, but deep, not flashy, but steady, the kind that walks with me through ordinary hours and makes them shine with purpose. Let this altar be my reminder that every day is holy when it starts with you, that the mundane becomes meaningful when offered back to the one who made me. Let it remind me that my life is not a random series of events, but a carefully woven story, authored by hands that never lose track of the plot, even when I do. And when the day gets hard, when frustration rises, when the hours feel heavy and the tasks feel endless, let me come back here. Not physically, but spiritually. Let me return in heart and mind to this place, this hour, this offering. Let this altar be portable. Let it live inside me. Let it anchor me. So I build it now, with my breath, with my prayer, with my hope, not because I am strong, but because I need to be rooted. Not because I have all the answers, but because I want to be aligned with the one who does. I set this space apart. I welcome you here, not just into this moment, but into all that will follow. Not just into this silence, but into the noise that is still to come. Here is my heart. Here is the altar. Let whatever is built between us in this quiet become the foundation I stand on today. Let it shape me, guide me, and remind me that before I take a single step into the world, I have already been with you. Father, now that this sacred space has been set apart, now that the altar has been formed within me not from perfection, but from presence, I feel the invitation to take a step forward, not away from stillness, but deeper into purpose. You have met me in the silence. You have steadied what was restless. You have softened the hard places in my soul. And now, from this place of quiet strength, I sense it is time to speak, not just to pray inwardly, but to declare outwardly, not to repeat empty words, but to send truth into the atmosphere like seeds into the earth. Because I know that what I speak carries weight, that my words are not meaningless, they create. They shape, they build or tear down. And this morning, I choose to speak with intention. I choose to speak from alignment with you, God. I do not want my day to be defined by reaction. I want it to begin with declaration, before problems show their face. I want to speak peace, before confusion has a chance to rise. I want to speak clarity, before insecurity whispers. I want to shout identity. Let my voice rise before the noise does. Let my spirit set the tone before circumstances try to take control. This is not about shouting louder. It is about speaking from deeper, deeper than fear, deeper than habit, deeper than doubt. I want to speak from the place in me that has been shaped in your presence. Let these words carry the fire from the altar. Let them hold the stillness from the surrender. Let them rise like incense not for show, but as a fragrant offering that reminds darkness who I belong to. So this morning, I declare truth over my mind. I will not be ruled by spiraling thoughts or anxiety that sneaks in without permission. I speak peace into every corner of my mind, even the places still wrestling with uncertainty. I declare that I have the mind of Christ, that wisdom is available to me, that clarity is not a reward for perfection, but a result of alignment with you. I declare truth over my emotions. I will not be governed by shifting feelings. I welcome them. I honor them. But I do not let them drive me. I speak stability into my heart. I declare that joy is my inheritance, not because everything is easy, but because you are good. I speak gentleness over my reactions and resilience into my responses. I speak compassion into the places that want to grow cold. I declare truth over my body, even if it aches, even if it is tired, even if it carries diagnosis or uncertainty. I speak strength into these bones. I speak rest into weary places. I declare that this body is not broken, it is beloved, that healing is possible, that wholeness is a process, and I welcome it today. I bless the breath in my lungs. I bless the steps my feet will take. I speak protection over every part of me that moves through this world today. I declare truth over my relationships. I speak peace into conversations not yet had. I speak grace over the words I will say and the ones I will hear. I speak understanding into potential conflict. I speak patience where irritation wants to grow. I speak boundaries that are healthy and love that is honest. I bless the people I will encounter today. I declare that I will carry light, not just in what I do, but in how I treat others. And I declare truth over my calling, over the work of my hands. Even if today feels small, even if tasks seem ordinary, I believe they are sacred. I speak purpose into every responsibility, creativity into every solution, and excellence into every effort, not to earn worth, but to honor the one who gave me breath. Let my work today be a reflection of who you are in me. Let it be worship, God. I do not just speak these things for the sake of routine. I speak them because I believe they have power, not because of me, but because of you. Because when your word fills my mouth, things shift. Because the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead lives in me and empowers every word that agrees with your truth. I do not want to live this day in silence when you have given me authority to speak. I remember now that when you created the world, you did not form it with your hands first. You spoke, "Let there be light," and light came rushing in. If your voice can split darkness, then surely, when I echo your truth, something shifts in the unseen. So I speak light now, over my home, over my work, over the path ahead. I speak light into places I have grown used to darkness. Let my declarations be like arrows, not of aggression, but of precision, not to wound, but to reclaim my peace, to reclaim my focus, to reclaim the joy that often gets buried on the dust of routine. Let these words go before me like a lamp lighting the path that has yet to unfold. And when doubts come, as they surely will, let me speak again. When fear tries to rise in the middle of the day, let me return to these truths, not as a ritual, but as a refuge. Let declaration be my response, not just in the morning, but whenever shadows stretch across the hours. Let me not wait to be overwhelmed. Let me answer early. Let me be proactive with peace. Let them be bold with blessing. I will not speak what my fear wants to hear. I will not rehearse defeat or play back past wounds like a broken record. I will not partner with the language of limitation. I will speak what heaven speaks. I will align my tongue with your promises. I will fill the air with words that agree what you have already said about me. Lord, I know this does not mean everything will go perfectly today, but it does mean I do not have to enter this day passive or unarmed. It means I do not face the hours ahead as someone powerless, but as someone planted, rooted in truth, anchored in grace, equipped with words that reflect your heart. Let this be how I begin, not in reaction, but in intention, not in fear, but in faith, not with worry, but with declaration. And let these words not stay here. Let them take root. Let them echo. Let them build something inside me that carries into every place I go today. Let the voice that rose in the morning continue to speak into every moment I meet. Father, as my voice rises to speak truth over this day, I cannot ignore what still lingers beneath it. The declarations are real. The words are full of life. But I know there are places in me that flinch when they are spoken. Parts of my heart that wince at the sound of hope, not because it is not beautiful, but because it feels unfamiliar. Because hope has let me down before. Because healing has not come the way I thought it would. Because there are wounds in me, still waiting for the touch of your hand. And so, as I speak light into the day ahead, I must also bring you the places where shadows still live. Lord, I do not want to pretend I am whole if I am still hurting. I do not want to build on top of brokenness and call it progress. I want to be honest here. I want to heal from the inside out, not just look better on the outside. And that means bringing you what I have tried to cover, the moments I still replay in my mind, the words that stung more deeply than anyone knows, the betrayals that made me build walls around my trust, the silence that followed prayers I begged you to answer. These are not things I talk about often, maybe because I am not sure what to say. Maybe because I thought time would fix them. But time is not always the healer we believe it is. Sometimes it only buries what we do not want to face. And you, God, are not afraid of what time has tried to hide. You walk into buried places. You uncover what was never meant to stay hidden, not to expose me in shame, but to bring me into freedom. And that is what I want today. Freedom. Not denial. Not distraction. Not delay. Just the quiet courage to sit with the pain and let you begin to touch it. There are wounds I have wrapped in silence, the kind that others dismissed, the kind I thought were too small to matter or too old to revisit. But you see them all, and more than that, you care. You care about the child who was never comforted, the teenager who felt invisible, the adult who learned to cope instead of heal. You care about the ways I have learned to survive instead of live. And you want more for me than survival. So here I am, peeling back the layers, slowly, carefully, trusting that you rush me, and you recoil. I know you are not like others. You do not minimize my pain. You do not say, get over it. You do not shame my tenderness. You sit with me in it. You hold what I thought no one would want. You cup it in your hands like treasure, not because the pain itself is precious, but because I am. And if I am hurting, then it matters to you. I bring you the heart hatches I have never named, the rejections that carved doubts into my identity, the moments of abandonment that still echo in the way I expect people to leave. I bring you the grief I have tucked away in the corners of my soul, the dreams I let die without a funeral, the hope I packed into a box and placed on a high shelf. I bring it not because I am ready to feel it all at once, because I trust you to help me carry it, to walk me through it, to breathe on it with gentleness and healing. And Lord, for the pain that came from people who claimed to speak in your name, I bring that too. The words that wounded when they were supposed to heal. The judgments that came dressed as advice. The shame that was placed on me in the guise of correction. I know you are not like them. I know you do not wound to prove a point. You convict to bring life. You correct with compassion. You draw with kindness. So I release to you the hurt that came through the hands of those who were supposed to love me well. I give you permission to separate their voice from yours in my memory. Teach me again what you sound like. Remind me that your voice restores. I ask you now to begin healing, not just what was done to me, but what I began to believe because of it. Heal the lie that I am too much or not enough. Heal the fear that I will always be left. Heal the inner vow that says I must stay guarded or I will be hurt again. These things are deep. Some of them are buried so far down that I can't even trace where they started. But you can. You have always seen the whole story, not just the pages I show others, not just the chapters I understand. You see it all, and you still stay. You still choose me. God, I do not expect instant transformation, but I do ask for a beginning, a small shift, a place where the scarred places soften, a moment when peace begins to seep in where pain used to live. I believe that healing does not have to be dramatic to be real. That sometimes it starts with a quiet release, a breath I did not know I was holding, a tear that finally falls, a whisper that says I am not alone. Let this morning be that whisper. Let this space be the beginning of restoration. Let this time with you be where I stop pretending and start receiving. Let it be the place where shame loses its voice and love begins to speak louder. Let it be where I stop building defenses and start building trust. I know I have protected myself for a long time, but now I want to be protected by you, not by walls I have built, but by arms that never fail. I ask you to move through me like water through stone, patiently, persistently, shaping me from the inside. Let your spirit find every crack, every wounded layer, every place I have kept hidden. Let your love be the healing I did not know how to ask for, the kind that does not erase the story, but rewrites the ending. And Father, if there are things I have done that caused wounds in others, bring them to light, not to shame me, but to make me whole. Let me not only be healed, but become an instrument of healing. Let my restored places become safe places for someone else to find hope. I do not want to just carry scars. I want to carry compassion. I want to walk through the world with tenderness, not bitterness, Let the healing you begin in me ripple outward into every life I touch. This is not easy. It is not clean. It is not fast, but it is holy. And I trust you to walk with me through it, to teach me how to sit with the H and not let it define me, to teach me how to remember without reliving, to teach me how to feel deeply without being consumed, and most of all, to teach me how to hope again. So I stay here in this sacred, uncomfortable, healing space, not because I love the pain, but because I believe in the restoration that comes after. And I believe you are not just able to heal, you are willing, you are ready, and you are near. Father, as you continue to draw me through this healing, gently and patiently uncovering the places I have hidden, I now come to one of the hardest spaces of all, the space where pain meets choice. The place where forgiveness stands like a threshold between where I have been and where you are calling me to go. You have already begun to soften the wounds, to unearth the H, to sit with me in what I thought I had to carry alone. And now, as your light reveals what still clings to me, I feel the weight of what I have been holding. It is not just sorrow anymore. It is resentment, quiet at times, loud at others, lingering in the shadows of memory, dressed in the names and faces of those who hurt me, people I trusted, people I leaned on, people I loved. And I confess to you now, Lord, that I have kept pieces of them locked in my heart like tokens of justice. I thought holding on to the pain would make it matter. I thought it was the only way to protect myself. But it has only made me tired, worn, closed off. And I am ready to be free. Forgiveness is not easy. Not when the wound runs deep, not when the apology never came, not when the damage shaped parts of who I became. But you never said it would be easy. You said it would be worth it. You said it would set me free. You said it would make space in my heart again for joy, for peace, for new beginnings. So I come here trembling, not with perfect words, but with a willing heart. God, I forgive. I speak it now. Not because I feel like it, but because I trust you to help me mean it more with every breath. I forgive the one who lied, the one who left, the one who broke promises and never looked back. I forgive the one who betrayed my trust, who used my kindness as weakness, who blamed me for their brokenness. I forgive not because they earned it, but because I no longer want to carry what they left behind. I forgive because I want to walk lighter. I forgive because you forgave me first. And I forgive myself for the things I said in anger, for the mistakes I can't erase, for the seasons I stayed too long or left too early, for believing lies about who I am, for pushing people away in fear, for holding my own heart hostage under the weight of regret. I forgive the younger version of me who did not know how to protect herself, who only did what she thought would help her survive. I release the shame. I release the self-punishment. I release the inner critic that keeps trying to rewrite history. It is finished. You have already covered it. I know forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It does not mean excusing. It does not mean pretending like it did not matter. It means I no longer let what happened hold the pen that writes my story. It means I choose mercy over bitterness, peace over pride, healing over history. It means I give you room to work in places where I can no longer fix anything. It means I open the door for restoration, even if it does not look the way I imagined. Father, for the ones I still struggle to release, help me when their names rise and anger follows. When the memory returns like a sharp edge, remind me that forgiveness is not a one-time act, but a daily posture. It is the way I keep my heart clean, even when others stay distant. It is the way I keep my soul soft, even when theirs remain hard. It is how I stay close to you, unburdened by chains I was never meant to wear. I bring you the weight of what I have carried and the names etched into it. I surrender the anger that flares up without warning, the disappointment that never fully left, the ache of wanting to be seen and heard and understood. I lay it all down at your feet. I do not want these old offenses to poison my joy any longer. I do not want bitterness growing in the corners of my soul. I want to be clean. I want to be free. I want to be whole. So I release them to you now, one by one. I speak their names in the quiet of this prayer and trust that you know what to do with what I cannot carry. You are the only one just enough to hold both grace and truth. You are the only one strong enough to handle the weight of every wrong without losing your mercy. I trust you with justice. I trust you with timing. I trust you with restoration if it is ever to come. And if reconciliation never happens, if the chapter stays closed and the silence remains, I still choose freedom. I choose to bless where I once cursed. I choose to let go where I once gripped tight. I choose to walk forward without dragging their names behind me like chains. I choose joy. I choose peace. I choose you. Let this be the morning I stop looking back to carry what hurt me. Let this be the day I walk lighter. Breathe deeper. Love wider. Let this be the moment I stop rehearsing what broke me and start practicing what heals me. Let forgiveness flow like a river through every part of me that still feels parched. Let it rise like a wave and wash away what no longer serves the future you are calling me into. And God, if there are people in my life who need my forgiveness, but do not even know it, let me offer it anyway. Quietly, fully, as a gift they may never receive, but I still choose to give. Let forgiveness become my way of living, not just a moment in prayer, but a rhythm of release. Teach me to walk with hands unburdened and a heart unchained. I know you are not asking me to do this alone. I know you are walking with me through every layer of this surrender. And when I falter, when I want to take the pain back, when I want to hold on to the memory just a little longer, remind me what freedom feels like. Remind me what wholeness looks like. Remind me that the weight I carry is not mine anymore. Thank you for showing me that forgiveness is not about losing, but about choosing. Not weakness, but strength. Not letting them win, but letting you lead. I choose to live led by grace. I choose to move in mercy. I choose to stand in freedom, even if I have to do it trembling. And if healing takes time, if forgiveness has to be spoken again and again, then let me not grow weary in repeating it. Let me trust that with every choice, something in me is being set free, one piece at a time. one breath at a time, one day at a time. Father, now that I have chosen forgiveness, even in the trembling, even in the pieces still falling into place, I realize how much room the choice has made inside me. It is as if the burden I did not know I was carrying has been lifted inch by inch. I can feel space returning to places that were once clenched. And in that space, something unexpected is stirring, not relief exactly, not closure, but a kind of stillness I have not felt in a long time. A quiet, a hush, the beginning of peace. Lord, I do not mean the kind of peace that fades the moment life pushes back. I am not asking for a surface calm that depends on circumstances behaving. I am reaching for the kind of peace that holds me together when everything else pulls at me to fall apart. The peace that does not ask for perfect understanding, but simply invites me to trust. The peace that is not built on control, but flows from surrender. That is the kind I long for, the kind only you can give. You have always offered this peace, have not you? Not as something I have to earn or chase, but as something that flows from being close to you. Your word says you keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on you. So maybe peace does not come by fixing everything outside me, but by shifting everything within. By anchoring my thoughts in who you are instead of what I fear. There have been so many mornings when I have opened my eyes already braced for conflict. Not necessarily with others, but with time. With stress, with the weight of expectation. I have rushed into the day trying to manage chaos instead of meeting peace. I have let urgency set the pace instead of your presence. And I am ready to do it differently now. I want peace to be the posture I begin with, not the reward I chase by the end of the day. God, I open every restless part of me to you now. The anxiety that hums beneath even the quiet moments. The fear of falling behind. The worry that I have missed something important. The inner critic that demands I perform. I lay them all down. I choose silence over spinning. I choose presence over pressure. I choose trust over turmoil. Let your peace come and take its place, not like a guest, but like the rightful owner of my inner world. I know peace does not mean life gets easier, but it does mean I no longer have to be at war with what I can control. It means I stop trying to hold everything together by the sheer force of my will. It means I let you lead, even when the way forward is not clear. It means I lean back when everything inside me says, lean in harder. It means I exhale. Let peace flow into the places that have forgotten how to rest, into the space between thoughts, into the silence between decisions. Let it soften the sharp edges of my day before they even form. Let it go before me like a shield, not to block trouble from reaching me, but to keep it from ruling me. Let it rise up within me when plans shift and people disappoint and pressure mounts. Let it be the steady ground beneath my feet when everything else is uncertain. I ask not just for peace in my soul, but in my surroundings. Let it cover my home. Let it meet the people I love as they step into their own day. Let it touch every room, every conversation, every doorway they pass through. Let the peace you place in me become something I carry into every space I enter quietly, humbly, without force, but with unshakable assurance that you are near. Lord, teach me the language of peace. Help me speak it into the atmosphere. Help me answer tension with grace. Help me breathe calm into chaotic spaces. Help me listen more than I defend. Wait more than I react. Bless more than I correct. Let peace not just be a feeling I wait for, but a fruit I cultivate, a discipline I practice, a response I choose again and again, even when everything in me wants to choose otherwise. And for the days when peace seems far away, when my chest is tight and my thoughts are loud and my patience is thin, remind me that I can return to this moment, that I can return to you, that peace is never out of reach when you live within me, that I do not have to earn it back, I just have to come home to it, to you. There is something so powerful about knowing that peace is not passive. It is not the absence of storms, but the presence of you in the middle of them. You do not promise that I won't face winds and waves. You promise that I won't face them alone, that you are in the boat, that you are the calm, that you are the voice that speaks peace. Be still, not just to the wind, but to the frightened places inside me. So I receive that now, not because I feel ready, but because you offer it freely. I let go of needing to understand everything. I release the tension that says, I must solve every problem right now. I unclench my fists. I take a deeper breath. I return my mind to what is true. You are here. You are good. You are strong. And you are not in a hurry, so neither am I. Let peace be the melody that moves through me today. Let it play underneath every word I say, every task I take on, every interruption I encounter. Let it shape my tone and guide my posture and steady my steps. Let it remind me that I do not have to be the hero of this story. I just have to follow the one who already won the battle. I keep trying to fight on my own. God, let me become a person of peace, not just a peacekeeper. Avoiding conflict, but a peacemaker, stepping into the hard places with kindness and quiet strength. Let peace be my boundary. Let it be my compass. Let it be the gift I give to a world desperate for stillness. And even if the world does not change today, even if tension rises and answers do not come and the sky stays gray, I will not let go of the peace you have planted in me. I will not trade it for false urgency or empty noise. I will guard it. I will carry it. I will return to it again and again. Like breath, like prayer, like home. Lord, as I carry this peace you have begun planting in me, something inside begins to stretch toward the light again. It is subtle at first, like the way the earth shifts quietly before dawn, like how a seed knows which way to reach even when buried. There is a clarity beginning to return, not full yet, but real enough to walk with, and I do not take it for granted, because I remember the fog I lived in before. I remember how it clung to me, how fear whispered louder than faith, how doubt weighed more than hope. But now, Father, with each breath wrapped in peace, I find myself turning back toward what I almost gave up on. Dreams I buried out of weariness, paths I abandoned when fear told me I was not enough, voices of calling I silenced because I was too tired to answer. There is something waking up now, and I believe it is you who is doing the waking. You never force the light on us. You wait for our eyes to adjust, for our hearts to open just enough to catch it. And I think that is what you are doing right now. Letting the warmth of purpose return, letting the vision sharpen gently, letting the road ahead feel less like a mystery and more like an invitation. I am still unsure of so many things, but I am sure of this. You are leading me again, and I want to follow. God, I confess, for a long time I did not know how to move forward. I lived stuck in cycles of second guessing. I questioned every instinct. I hesitated when I should be stepped, and I stepped when I should be waited. I looked for signs in every shadow instead of sitting with you in the stillness. But you are not the author of confusion. You are the giver of light, and when you illuminate the way, it is not rushed, it is not frantic, it is steady and sure. So show me again where you are calling me to go. Let your whisper rise louder than the noise of doubt. Let your presence be the compass. If there is anything I have been holding on to that keeps me from walking in the clarity you offer, help me surrender it. I do not want to walk bent by old fears. I do not want to drag shame behind me. I want to step freely and fully, with hands open and eyes lifted. There are places you have already prepared for me, are not there? Spaces of healing, assignments only I can fulfill. People I am meant to meet, not just by chance, but by your design. And I do not want to miss them, Lord. I do not want to be too caught up in regrets to recognize the grace that is unfolding now. I do not want to waste this new light you have given me by keeping my eyes on yesterday's pain. Father, I know the path may still twist and rise, but I trust you have walked it ahead of me. You are not guessing what comes next. You are not reacting like I so often do. You are writing every step with intention. I am just learning how to read what you have already authored. And the more I sit with you, the more I feel the story shifting from fear to faith, from dimness to brightness, from wandering to walking with purpose. Let the decisions I make today be soaked in light. Let the words I speak be lifted from truth. Let my hands build what brings life. Let my eyes recognize divine appointments, even when they are hidden in ordinary hours. Let me not be so focused on the destination that I miss the sacredness of each small step. Because the light you give, Lord, is not just for where I am going, it is for who I am becoming. Help me to walk slowly enough to notice, boldly enough to risk, gently enough to stay tender, confidently enough to not need every answer before I move. Let my life be a reflection of someone who walks with the light not perfectly, but faithfully, not without questions, but with unwavering hope. I know there will be moments when clouds return, when old doubts whisper again, when I lose sight of where I am heading. But even then, let me remember that light does not vanish, it waits. Even when hidden, it is never gone. Even when I stumble, the light is still reaching. You are still guiding. You are still here, Lord. For every listener who feels lost in their own fog, in their own tunnel of not knowing, ask you to breathe light into their soul right now, not just information or instruction, but revelation, the kind of light that quiets chaos, the kind that shows a better way, the kind that gently says, you can begin again. Let them feel it as surely as sunrise on their skin, as clearly as the first warmth of morning after a cold night. Let that light carry them through hard conversations, through heavy tasks, through unexpected turns. Let it be their reassurance when confidence fades. Let it be their clarity when choices overwhelm. Let it steady the pace of their hearts. Let it echo the truth that they are never alone, never forgotten, never abandoned in the dark. And God, if this day holds opportunities to shine that same light into someone else swirled into their weariness, their confusion, their storm, then let me be brave enough to do it, not with perfect answers, not with forced joy, but with presence, with compassion, with realness. Let my peace ripple out. Let my clarity be shared. Let me be someone who reflects your light, not for recognition, but for restoration. So I walk forward, not with a map, but with a light in my spirit that tells me you are near. I let go of needing full clarity before taking the next step. I trust that the lamp you place at my feet is enough for today. I do not fear the darkness ahead, because the light within is stronger. I move not because I am certain of what is next, but because I am certain of who walks with me now. And in that certainty, I rise, I breathe deeper, I listen closer, I press onward, not chasing perfection, but choosing light again and again. I know this is the way. I know you are here, and so I keep walking. Lord, in the stillness of this moment, I pause again to find you not in the rush of answers or in the swift arrival of blessings, but here, in the tension of waiting. It is not easy to remain still when everything within me longs to move forward, to fix, to understand, to be relieved. But as the quiet stretches before me, I feel you drawing me inward, asking not for action, but for surrender. And so, here I am again, with open hands and a heart that is slowly learning to be still. There is a different kind of faith that grows in waiting, not one that leaps or shouts, but one that whispers and breathes through the silence. I am beginning to see that the waiting is not wasted. You are working in places I cannot see, and teaching me in ways that I would not choose, but deeply need. I confess that I often associate waiting with punishment or abandonment. I fear it means you have forgotten me, or that I have failed some test of faith. But you remind me, gently and patiently, that waiting is often the place where trust is born, not in the fulfillment, but in the delay. I remember the stories of those who waited long before me: Abraham under the stars with nothing but a promise, Joseph in the quiet darkness of a prison, Hannah in tears at the altar, even Jesus in the garden, waiting for the hour of suffering to arrive. Their waiting was not meaningless. It became the soil where trust took root, where character was refined, and where your presence became more real than any outcome. Help me believe the same is possible for me. I am tempted to measure my life by movement, by breakthroughs, by the visible fruits of progress. But what if the real growth is happening underground, where no one claps, where no one sees, where only you know how deep the roots are pushing through the dark earth? Help me not to despise this hidden work. Help me not to rush it. Let me settle into the quiet and trust that you are forming something eternal within me. There is in this waiting, a longing that is raw and persistent. It shows up in the quiet hours of the morning, in the empty spaces where answers have not arrived. Sometimes I try to silence it, to fill it with distractions. But today I choose instead to bring it to you. I will not pretend it does not exist. I will not hide it behind forced positivity or artificial strength. I will name the H, and I will let you hold it, because I know you are not ashamed of it. You are not tired of hearing the same prayer again. You are not distant when the tears fall. You are near. Lord, I invite you into the waiting, not just as a future rescuer, but as a present companion. Walk with me through each moment that feels too long, too uncertain, too heavy to bear alone. Speak into the silence with your truth. Let your voice be louder than the voice of fear or impatience. Remind me that you are never late, never distracted, never absent. You are here, in the middle of the pause, writing a story I cannot yet read, building a strength I cannot yet see. I surrender the timelines I have built in my mind, the deadlines I set for when things should be fixed, when I should be healed, when doors should open. I let go of the idea that I am falling behind, or that I must rush to catch up to others. I trust that you are not measuring me by speed, but by surrender. Not by how quickly I move, but how deeply I lean into you. Teach me to be content with the pace of grace. Even as I wait, I want to live fully. I do not want to waste the beauty of this day, holding out for a better one. Let me find you in the small things: a warm cup of tea, a ray of morning light on the floor, the gentle sound of wind through the trees. Let these tiny graces anchor me when the bigger answers are still forming. Let them be reminders that even in the waiting, life is still unfolding, still singing, still sacred. If discouragement creeps in, meet it with your comfort. If resentment begins to grow, uproot it with your truth. If I begin to question my worth based on what I have not yet received, remind me that I am not defined by delays. I am defined by your love, and your love is not conditional on outcomes. It is constant. It is complete. It is enough for this day, this hour, this breath. And if today holds no breakthrough, no resolution, no change in circumstances, may it still hold peace. May it hold the quiet miracle of trust being deepened. May it hold the holy act of choosing you again, not because of what you have done, but because of who you are. You are faithful in the silence. You are present in the pause. You are good, even here. So I take another step into this day, not because I have all the answers, but because I am learning to walk with you. Even when I do not, I carry my questions, my hopes, my awareness, and I also carry faith. However small, however fragile, and that, I believe, is enough. Let this day be another chapter in the story of waiting well. Let it be marked by gentle courage and quiet faith. Let it be a reminder that even now, you are at work in me, around me, through me. And when the day comes that the waiting ends, I will look back and see how you were never far, never still, never absent. You were preparing me, loving me, transforming me right in the middle of the in-between. Lord, as I exhale into this moment, I sense how silence carries its own kind of wisdom, just as the previous hours have drawn me into surrender, into the stillness of waiting. Now I feel you inviting me even deeper, not into speaking, not into asking, but into listening. And that feels unfamiliar, because so often, prayer has been my place to speak, to pour, to cry out, to wrestle. But now, as my heart leans closer to yours, I realize that the greatest intimacy might not come from what I say, but from what I hear. You are not a distant God who demands noise to notice. You are the God who whispers in the quiet, who speaks through the rustling leaves, through the stillness before dawn, through the spaces between my racing thoughts. And yet, how many times have I rushed away too soon? How often have I filled the air with my needs and left before your answer could even land in my soul? I admit, it is hard to be still, harder to be quiet. It feels vulnerable to stop performing, to stop controlling, to stop filling every pause with words. But if you are truly present, then maybe your voice does not need to shout over mine. Maybe you have been speaking all along, and I just never learned how to stay still long enough to notice. Father, teach me the art of listening. Train my heart to recognize your tone. Not the voice of shame that mimics religion. Not the noise of fear disguised as caution. Not the echo of my own wounded thoughts pretending to be wisdom, but the true voice. The voice that calms without silencing. The voice that convicts without condemning. The voice that sounds like love because it is love. Help me remember that you are not hiding from me. You are not playing games or making me guess. You desire to be known. You long for conversation, not monologue. You created me with ears not just to hear the world, but to hear you. So open the ears of my spirit. Remove the static. Clear away the distractions. Make me attentive to the divine nudges, the quiet urgings, the gentle tugs toward truth. I used to believe that hearing from you had to be grand visions, thunder, sacred visitations. But now I am learning that sometimes you speak through the ordinary, through a friend's encouragement, through a line in a song, through a sudden moment of peace in a stormy day, through scripture that feels like it was written just for me, through a memory I did not ask for, but needed to see. You are not limited in how you speak, but I am often limited in how I listen. So stretch my listening, make me brave enough to sit in the unknowing, to resist the urge to fill every gap with my own logic, to let mystery be a holy space where trust grows. Because the more I learn to listen, the more I begin to recognize that you are not just speaking to guide me, but to love me, to be near me, to share your heart with mine. Lord, I confess the noise I have allowed to dominate my mind, the voices I have let define my worth, the inner critics that drown out grace, the fear that speaks louder than faith. But I want something different now. I want to hear you above them all. I want to know what it means when your word says, "Your sheep know your voice." I want to become so familiar with the sound of your spirit that when lies whisper, I do not flinch, that when chaos stirs, I stay grounded, that when temptation comes, I already know it is not you. And Lord, if I am honest, sometimes what I fear most about listening is not that you want to speak, but that you will ask me to let go, that you will tell me the truth I have been avoiding, that you will pull back the curtain on something I am not ready to face. But if you are truly good and I am holding on to that truth, then even when you speak hard things, they are spoken with healing in your breath. So I open my soul wide, even to what I do not understand yet, because I would rather wrestle with your truth than live at peace with a lie. Help me find sacredness in silence. Help me treat stillness not as absence, but as invitation. Let the quiet no longer be a place of discomfort, but a sanctuary, a classroom, a holy chamber where your voice can rise like incense, slow and certain. Speak, Lord, and keep speaking, even if my ears take time to adjust, even if my flesh resists the pause, even if my mind wanders. Keep speaking until my soul tunes in, until my heart beats in rhythm with yours. And when you speak, Lord, remind me not to rush away. Don't let me treat your voice like a passing wind. Let me linger, let me stay, let me receive, not just react. Let your words root in me like seeds in good soil, growing slowly, steadily, deeply, so that when storms come, I am not swayed by every gust, but grounded in what I have heard from you. You are not a silent God. You are a speaking God, a revealing God, a God who does not withhold, but who unveils truth to those who seek. So here I am again, listening, not with my ears only, but with my life. And this time, I want to just hear. I will respond. I will obey. I will remember. I will treasure every word, not because I am trying to earn your favor, but because I have already been given your heart. And even now, as I rest in this moment, I feel something settling inside me, a gentle awareness, a whisper too soft to describe, but too real to deny. Maybe that is you. Maybe you have already spoken. Maybe the act of listening is not about hearing something new, but recognizing what has always been true. So I will stay here, not asking, not rushing, just receiving, just listening. And I trust that in this space, you are shaping me, not through noise, but through nearness, not through volume, but through presence. And that is enough, God. In the hush that follows listening, I begin to feel the quiet tension of waiting. You have been drawing me into a space where I no longer rush to fill silence. But now I am learning that silence does not always mean completion. Sometimes it is the space between promises and fulfillment, and in that space, Father, trust is tested not just in the clarity of your voice, but in the mystery of your timing. There are prayers I have whispered for so long they feel like echoes, hopes I have held gently, afraid they would shatter if I clutched too tightly, questions I have asked again and again, met not with answers but with stillness. And yet, Here I remain, not because I understand, but because I believe you are good, because you have never once failed to move. Even when I could not see it, because every delay is not a denial, and every waiting room of the soul is an altar where trust is built. Lord, remind me that your delays are not punishments. They are preparations. When things take longer than I expect, you are not withholding. You are refining. You are clearing the way. You are stretching my character to fit the size of the blessing you are forming. And even when I do not feel progress, something is growing beneath the surface. A deeper faith, a quieter strength, a steadier hope. It is hard, though I want to pretend it is not. I see others moving forward while I feel stuck. I watch doors open for them while mine seem sealed shut. I hear testimonies of breakthrough while I sit in the middle of not yet. But you never asked me to compare my story. You only asked me to trust yours, to believe that what you write for me is sacred, even the chapters I would never choose. So help me lean into your timing with surrender instead of struggle. Help me stop measuring time by outcomes and start measuring it by presence. If you are with me in the waiting, then the waiting is not wasted. If you sit beside me in the in-between, then I am never truly standing still. You are working in the unseen, aligning what I cannot control, shielding me from what I do not know, and drawing me into a version of myself that looks more like you. Teach me to stop demanding to know when and start asking to know you more. Shift my heart from timelines to trust. Replace my deadlines with dependence. Let me find peace not in the certainty of what is coming next, but in the consistency of who you are now. You are never late. You are never rushed. You are not moved by pressure or panic. And if I am following you, then I do not have to be either. When I am tempted to rush ahead, remind me how many times you have saved me by saying, "Not yet." How many disappointments were actually protection? How many closed doors kept me from walking into something unready or unworthy of the purpose you have placed inside me? Help me look back and see the beauty of divine pauses, the grace of detours, the wisdom of waiting. And while I wait, Lord, do not let me grow bitter. Don't let my faith turn cynical. Let hope remain soft in my hands. Even when it feels fragile, let praise rise from my lips. Even before the answer comes, let worship become my rhythm, not as a transaction for blessings, but as a declaration that you are already enough. You have never asked me to understand your timing, only to walk with you inside it. So that is what I choose now. To walk, to breathe, to stay close, to let each sunrise remind me that delay is not defeat, and slowness is not absence. The morning always comes, even if the night feels endless, and so will your promises, in their appointed hour. Strengthen me in the waiting, God, not just to endure it, but to embrace it, to see it as a sacred chapter, not a forgotten one, to believe that nothing is stagnant in your hands. Every moment is held, every tear is counted, every silent ache is seen, and the more I trust your timing, the more peace flows like a river through my soul. You are not only the God who answers prayers, you are the God who meets me in the space between. And there, you are enough, Lord, As the silence deepens around me and the early light stretches across the sky, I remain still in your presence. There is something sacred about the in-between, the space where the waiting becomes walking, where what was once distant begins to stir beneath my feet. I feel it now, the gentle nudge forward, not in haste, not in fear, but in trust. For you have not only called me to wait, but also to move, to journey, to step into the unfolding of your promises. Even when I cannot yet see the whole path ahead, you have taught me that faith is not merely holding on, but walking with open hands. The journey is not a race to the destination, but a sacred unfolding, a series of steps taken in trust. And each morning, as I breathe in this quiet, I feel the weight of what I carry, memories of where I have been, wounds I am still tending to, questions I do not yet have answers for. But I also feel something new, something soft and steady rising within me. It is not loud or dramatic, but it is real. The courage to keep going. God, sometimes I wish you would show me the full map, reveal every valley and every mountaintop before I begin. But you have shown me that what I need is not the map, but your hand. And so I hold on not to certainty, but to you. Because with you, even the winding roads are holy. Even the detours are redeemed. Even the waiting becomes a sacred part of the journey. As I rise into this day, help me to remember that the journey itself is a gift. The path may be narrow, but is lit by your love. The steps may be slow, but they are sacred. The road may bend in ways I do not expect, but nothing is wasted in your hands. Not the tears I have cried along the way, not the prayers I have whispered through clenched teeth, not even the moments when I doubted if I could take another step. You were there for all of it, and you are here now. I have come to see that strength is not found in pretending to be fearless, but in admitting my weakness and still choosing to move forward. And I know now that I do not journey alone. You walk with me. You walk beside me when I feel strong and when I am trembling. You carry me when my legs give out and I fall to my knees. You whisper peace when my thoughts try to outrun my hope, and when I forget who I am, you remind me that I am yours. So today, as I move through whatever lies ahead, remind me that I am not wandering, I am being led, even in the mundane, even in the unnoticed, even when the days feel like repetition without reward. You are weaving purpose into each moment. You are shaping my heart with every small act of obedience, every silent surrender, every breath that chooses peace instead of panic. Lord, I bring you my fears about the future, my longing for breakthrough, my questions that still echo through the corridors of my heart. I do not ask you to erase the journey, but to walk it with me. I do not ask for shortcuts, but for strength. I do not ask for escape, but for eyes to see you in every step. Transform the way I see this road. Let me not despise the process. Let me not rush through what you are using to deepen my roots. Let me not miss the beauty hidden in the waiting, the walking, the stretching of faith. If I stumble today, remind me that it does not define me. If I grow weary, wrap me in your presence like a warm cloak. If I doubt, hold my hand tighter. If I forget how far we have come, whisper the milestones we have passed. Remind me of the nights you turned into morning, the storms you stilled with a single word, the deserts you made bloom. You are not a God who simply waits for me at the finish line. You are the God who walks with me every inch of the way. Let me breathe in your mercy with each new sunrise. Let me carry your grace like oil in my lamp, enough for the day, even if I do not yet see tomorrow. Let me pause not to worry, but to worship. Let me move not with striving, but with surrender. Let my journey not be a frantic climb toward achievement, but a steady walk toward transformation. Shape me as I go. Teach me through each twist in the path. Help me to trust that even when I do not feel it, your hand is steady, your presence is near, and your purpose is unfolding. Today, I walk not to prove something to the world, but to live more deeply in your love. I move not to be seen, but to see you more clearly. I carry not the burden of perfection, but the freedom of being held. I do not need to know the outcome to trust the one who holds it. I do not need to have every answer to believe you are good. I just need to keep walking, one surrendered step at a time. So, Father, as the sun rises on this new day, I step forward. Not because I have everything figured out, but because you have me. Not because the way is easy, but because the destination is worth it. Not because I am fearless, but because you are faithful. Let this journey shape me, stretch me, and draw me closer to you with every single breath I take. Lord, as the dawn stretches her quiet fingers across the sky, I come to you again with a heart that is softer now than it was before. The struggle, though not vanished, feels somehow gentler in the light of surrender. I do not mean the kind of surrender that gives up hope, but the surrender that lays down arms and opens both hands to you. This moment of stillness is not defeat, but deliverance. Because I have begun to realize that holding on too tightly to what I cannot control only keeps me bound. And yet, letting go feels like standing at the edge of something I cannot yet see, but must trust is good. Father, I have carried so much for so long. Worries I could never solve, questions I could never answer, burdens that never belonged to me, but became mine simply because I did not know how to let them go. But now, I see that you have been waiting for this moment, not to force it from me, but to receive it as a gift offered in trust. You are not asking me to be careless. You are asking me to be courageous, to stop gripping every outcome with clenched fists, and instead rest my trembling hands in yours. Even now, Lord, I feel the tension easing in my chest. A breath goes deeper. The H behind my eyes softens. This is not because my circumstances have changed, but because something in me is beginning to. There is peace not in knowing how things will unfold, but in knowing you are already there. Already working. Already redeeming. Letting go does not mean I stop caring. It means I trust you more than I trust my fear. It means I am ready to stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios and start believing in your goodness again. I remember the image of the shepherd who carries the lost lamb, not with frustration, but with gentleness. That is who you are to me right now. I have wandered in the wild of my own thoughts, exhausted by the weight of figuring it all out. But you find me, you lift me, you walk me home. not because I deserve it, not because I ask the right way, but because that is what love does. You are not a God who waits for perfection. You are a God who waits for surrender. So here I am, Lord. Not polished, not fearless, but willing. I do not come with resolutions today. I come with release. Teach me how to live open-handed. Teach me how to see what is mine to carry and what is yours alone. When I pick up too much, when I forget that your shoulders are broader than mine, remind me, gently, firmly, faithfully, because in the letting go, I do not lose anything worth keeping. I only lose what was never meant to define me. There is a kind of holy rest in this surrender. Not sleep, but stillness. Not quitting, but quiet. I feel you drawing near in the silence. You are not absent when you are quiet. You are working deeper, beyond the noise of my mind and the chaos of my days, and in this silence, you speak volumes. You say, "Be still and know that I am God." Not know the answers, not know the reasons, just know you. That is enough, Lord. I confess, there is still fear in me. Letting go is not a one-time act. It is a practice, a posture. Some things I will need to lay down again and again. But even that, I trust you with. You are patient, you are kind, and you never grow weary of my returning. Like the ocean welcomes the river, you receive what I release. You carry it into the vastness of your grace, and you bring back peace. Help me to notice when I begin grasping again. Help me to feel it not just in my soul, but in my body, in the tightening of my shoulders, the shallowness of my breath, the racing of my thoughts. Let those be signals not of failure, but of invitation. To pause, to breathe, to return. You are not a taskmaster. You are a father. And when I come home, you do not demand explanations. You wrap me in peace. In this morning's light, I choose again to trust you. I choose not because I have no doubts, but because even with doubts, I have decided you are good. I have seen enough of your mercy to know that I can place my unknowns in your hands. I have felt enough of your comfort to believe that even if letting go feels like falling, you will catch me every time. Lord, thank you for being my safe place to land, for reminding me that I do not have to be strong all the time, for showing me that the peace I long for is not found in controlling everything, but in releasing everything into your care. I let go today, not because I have it all figured out, but because I know you do. I let go not because I am giving up, but because I am giving in to you, to grace, to love that is stronger than fear. And as I move through this day, when the urge to cling returns, remind me of this stillness, of this peace, of this moment where my heart finally said, enough. This be a turning point, not into numbness, but into trust. Let it be a doorway I walk through daily, into the life you have always dreamed for me, a life not dictated by anxiety, but guided by surrender, a life where freedom is found not in what I hold on to, but in what I place into your hands. Father, in the gentle hush that follows surrender, I begin to feel something stirring within me, something quiet but steady, like the first pulse of life after a long sleep. It is not loud, it is not grand, but it is real. The strength to begin again is rising in me, not because I am ready in every way, because you are near in every moment. The pieces of me that once felt scattered now start to gather, not through effort, but through grace. You are not asking for perfection. You are inviting me to rise. And in this rising, there is no shame for what has fallen, no condemnation for the days I stayed still, too tired to try again. Only compassion, only presence, only your voice, like a whisper that finds me in the quiet corners of my soul and says, "You do not have to rush. You only have to breathe and trust that I am with you." That is where strength begins, not in performance, but in presence, not in proving anything, but in believing you are enough even when I feel I am not. Lord, you know how fragile I feel sometimes, how I doubt my own courage, how easily I remember my past mistakes, how the weight of yesterday can cling like shadows at sunrise. But you do not define me by those things. You remind me that every dawn is a chance to begin again, that grace resets not because I earned it, but because you are faithful. You do not measure me by how many times I fall, but by the fact that I keep placing my heart in your hands. There is beauty in beginning again, not because it is easy, but because it is sacred. Every step forward, no matter how small, becomes an act of trust. Every new breath becomes a reminder that I am still here, still being held, still being healed. And even when I cannot run, even when I can only whisper yes with trembling lips, you call that enough. You are the God who builds new beginnings out of brokenness and strength out of surrender. So today, I take that first step. Maybe it is just rising from my bed with intention. Maybe it is speaking kindness when my heart still hurts. Maybe it is showing up in places where I once felt unseen. Whatever it looks like, I know you are already in it. You go before me, not to remove every obstacle, but to remind me that I do not walk alone. The road does not have to be smooth for it to be sacred. The journey does not have to be perfect for it to be powerful. God, I know there will be moments today when doubt creeps back in, when old patterns try to convince me that change is impossible, when weariness whispers that I have nothing left. But in those moments, anchor me to truth. Let me hear again the quiet certainty that you are for me. Let your presence be the steady ground beneath my feet. When everything around me feels uncertain, you are not the God of instant fixes. You are the God of faithful unfolding. And I want to walk with you, even when it is slow. There is courage in choosing to hope again. There is resilience in lifting my head, even when it is heavy. There is victory in showing up to this life with an open heart, even after it has been broken. And you are the source of that courage, that resilience, that victory. I do not find it in myself. I find it in you, in the way you speak to my soul with gentleness, in the way you see beyond my fear, in the way you believe in the person I am becoming, even when I can't yet see it myself. Thank you for never giving up on me. Thank you for seeing the potential within me, when all I see is the pain. Thank you for breathing life into dry places and calling me forward when I want to shrink back. You do not rush me, but you never let me stay stuck. Your love is both comfort and calling. It soothes and it stirs. It wraps around my awareness and whispers, "There is more for you than this." And in that whisper, I find strength. I may not know what today will hold. I may not feel strong enough for all it requires. But I know you will meet me in every hour, in every breath, in every small beginning. And with you, small beginnings are never wasted. They are the soil where transformation takes root. They are the seeds you water with mercy. And I believe, even if the change is slow, even if the growth is hidden, it is happening. Because you are faithful, so help me, Lord, to begin again not out of pressure, but out of promise, not because I must, but because you are offering me a way forward that is filled with grace. Let my heart not be paralyzed by the past or overwhelmed by the future. Let me find you in the now, in the cup of water, in the kind word, in the steady breath. Let these small things become holy when done in love, when done with intention, when done with you. And when I stumble, remind me that this is not the end. That one falter does not erase the journey, that you are not shocked by my struggle. You stay, always. You are not waiting at the finish line. You are walking beside me through it all. Every step matters to you. Every tear is seen. Every hope, even the ones I do not dare speak, is held in your hands with tenderness. So I lift my eyes, not in defiance, but in trust. I lift my soul, not in pride, but in openness. I lift my life, not because I have it all together, but because I want to place it in the care of the one who does. I begin again, not alone, but with you. And that is enough, Lord. Even as I choose to begin again, I feel the weight of what comes next, not in dramatic leaps, but in the quiet choice to continue. And that, too, requires courage, perhaps even more than starting fresh. It is the staying faithful, the showing up, the steady pressing forward when no one sees, that tests the depth of my trust in you. There are no fireworks in consistency, no applause in the ordinary, but that is where you often dwell most intimately with those who dare to be faithful in small, unseen places. You have taught me, Father, that the sacred is often hidden in the mundane, that holiness is not always wrapped in grandeur, but often in simple obedience, in making the bed with care, in speaking gently to a tired soul, in choosing patience when irritation wants to rise. It is in these daily acts of love that faith becomes real, not just spoken, but lived. And though no one may recognize it, you see it all. You delight in it. You walk beside me in every repeated motion and remind me that nothing done in love is ever wasted. There is a kind of quiet bravery in staying the course, in rising each day with the same prayer on my lips, in choosing again and again to forgive, to hope, to believe that what I do matters, not because it is impressive, but because it is infused with your presence. This kind of living is not flashy. It won't always inspire headlines or stories, but it builds a life that is rooted, a soul that is grounded, A heart that is unshaken not because it feels strong, because it trusts in a strength greater than its own. God, help me find beauty in the repetition, in the morning light that falls on my floor the same way it did yesterday, in the way I pour water into a cup and remember that you are my living water, in the way I prepare my mind to show up at work. In relationships, in moments that seem so familiar, I forget they are sacred. Remind me that just because it is common does not mean it is empty. The ordinary is often the altar where transformation begins. So many times I have longed for big signs, for loud affirmation, for the kind of breakthrough that feels like lightning. But you keep bringing me back to the slow, steady rhythm of grace, to the deep work that takes time, to the kind of faith that is formed not in the storm, but in the quiet before and after. I am learning to see your fingerprints, not just in the miracles, but in the morning routines, in the way my feet touch the ground, in the breath I take before speaking, in the pause between choosing kindness or contempt. This is the courage I ask for today, not the kind that roars, but the kind that whispers. Keep going. The kind that smiles at repetition, because it knows you are in the pattern. The kind that continues even when it feels unnoticed. Teach me not to seek glory in results, but to find meaning in obedience. Let my satisfaction be rooted not in outcomes, but in the knowing that I was faithful with what you placed in front of me. Lord, there are days when this kind of steady living feels like invisibility, when I wonder if anything I am doing is making a difference, when discouragement presses in, whispering that I am stuck, that I will never grow, that it is all just motion without progress. But that is not your voice. You are not the God of discouragement. You are the God who sees seeds long before they become trees. The God who waters roots no one else notices. The God who smiles at small steps taken in sincerity. Let me not measure my life by what others see, but by what you see. Let me find joy in showing up again, even if the world is silent. Let me believe that a heart given over to you in the small things is a heart that pleases you deeply. I want to be found faithful in the things that no one claps for. I want to love well behind the scenes. I want to keep showing up not for praise, but because you are worth it. You are the one who remained through centuries of human inconsistency. You have never wavered. Your mercy renews with each sunrise. Your faithfulness outlasts seasons. You have been the constant in a world that spins and shifts and fades. So let me reflect that in my life, even in small ways. Let me mirror that constancy not in perfection, but in devotion. Not because I feel strong, but because I am anchored in you. So today, when I do the things I did yesterday, when I walk the same path, speak the same words, hold the same hands, help me see them with new eyes. Help me remember that doing the same good thing again is not failure. It is formation. It is foundation. It is faithfulness. And even if my heart feels slow, even if my soul feels weary, let me press on not out of pressure, but out of love. This kind of love, the quiet kind, the faithful kind, the ordinary kind, is the love that changes the world. It may never be loud, but it is deep. It may never be dramatic, but it is real. And it is the kind of love you modeled in the way among us not always performing miracles, but sitting at tables, touching lepers, washing feet. You lived with holy consistency, and you call me to do the same. So give me strength to keep walking the narrow road, one step at a time. Give me patience to keep planting when the harvest is unseen. Give me eyes to see the sacred in the schedule, and give me joy not the fleeting kind, but the deep kind that comes from knowing I am doing this life with you, that you are near in every moment, cheering me on when no one else sees, holding my heart in the quiet, and whispering that this, too, is holy ground. Let today be a day not of dramatic beginnings, but of steady continuation. Let me begin again, and again, and again, because you are faithful and I am yours. Father, now that I have embraced the courage to walk in quiet consistency, I find myself leaning in, longing to hear more clearly the sound of your voice. It is not that you were ever silent, but perhaps I have only just begun to still my soul enough to truly listen. Amid the rhythms of daily life, in the repetition that once felt dull but now reveals your grace, I discover how much I need not only to speak to you, but to hear from you. And so this morning, I come not with noise, but with a yearning heart, asking you to teach me how to listen. You are never far, and yet so often I live as though I must strive to reach you. But now I realize it is not striving that brings me close, it is stillness. Not noise, but quiet surrender. It is in the hush before the dawn, in the silence between breaths, in the gentle pauses of thought, where your whispers begin to form. I no longer seek grand answers shouted from the heavens, but subtle stirrings that awaken within when my heart grows soft and my spirit bows low. Lord, let me be a listener, not just someone who hears, but one who listens with intention, with humility, with reverence, listening not just to be informed, but to be transformed. There are countless voices that clamor for my attention, but only one voice can bring peace that stays. So this morning, I ask you to tune my soul to the frequency of heaven, to help me silence the inner noise, to bring clarity where there has been confusion and direction where there has been doubt. I know you speak in many ways through Scripture, through nature, through people, through conviction in my spirit, through the slow unfolding of events that I cannot yet interpret. Sometimes you speak through delays, through doors that remain shut, through the uncomfortable waiting that stretches my faith. Sometimes you speak through joy that rushes in like sunlight, and sometimes through the ache of longing that refuses to go away. Help me to hear you in every form, God. I do not want to just be someone who seeks you when I need something. I want to be someone who desires your thoughts, your heart, your presence simply because you are good, because you are love, because when you speak, even the hardest truths carry healing, and even the quietest words create movement. Speak to me not only in clarity, but even in mystery, and give me the grace to trust you in both. Sometimes I confess, Lord, I have not wanted to hear you not, because I doubted you speak, but because I feared what you might say. I feared you would ask me to surrender what I was clinging to, or to go where I did not want to go, or to forgive when my heart was still tender with pain. But you are never harsh. Even when you correct, you restore. Even when you convict, you draw near. So give me the courage to receive every word you speak, not with resistance, but with a spirit that says, "Yes, Lord, I am listening." Let my listening become a lifestyle, not just a moment. Let it carry into the conversations I have today, into the way I respond to others, into the decisions I make when no one else is watching. Let me hear you in the laughter of a friend, in the tears of a stranger, in the nudge that tells me to stop and care. Even when I am in a hurry, let my ears be attuned not just to words, but to hearts. For in learning to listen well to those around me, I learn better how to hear you. Father, if I have grown numb to your voice, awaken me again. If I have dismissed the gentle tug of your spirit because I was chasing louder things, call me back, not with force, but with the familiarity of love. Like a shepherd who knows the sound of each sheep, call me by name and teach me how to recognize the unique cadence of your voice amid the chaos. Let no imitation draw me away. Let no false comfort satisfy my longing for you. I want to be moved by what moves you. I want to be still when you say rest, and to go when you say move. I want to be quick to respond, not out of fear of missing out, but out of joy in following where you lead. Let obedience rise not from obligation, but from love, because I have listened and my heart trusts that you are always good. Lord, if there is something I need to hear today, make me brave enough to receive it. If there is something I have been refusing to face, help me sit with it in your presence. If there is healing I have been avoiding, draw it out gently. Speak into the places that I have kept guarded. I will not hide, not from you, not anymore, because even in the hard things, I know you speak to build me, not break me. You reveal truth not to shame, but to set free. So let truth fall gently on my soul like morning rain. Let it soak through every dry place and bring life again. Even when I cannot yet see the path ahead, speak light into my steps. I do not ask for the whole picture. I only ask for the next faithful step, just enough light to walk by, just enough of your voice to lead me toward love. Let your words shape my words today. Let what I hear from you become what I speak into the world, not noise, not worry, not pride, but peace, encouragement, honesty, and grace. May my life become an echo of what I hear from heaven. May my words be seasoned with gentleness. May my thoughts be refined through the fire of truth. May my spirit stay tender, teachable, willing to grow, eager to change. I do not want to be wise in my own eyes. I want to be like a child again, open, curious, unafraid to ask, and quick to listen. May my soul lean toward you always, not out of habit, but out of desire. And when I miss it, when I fail to hear or fail to respond, remind me you are not distant, that your voice is not a test I must pass, but a gift you keep offering, that you do not withdraw when I get it wrong, but patiently stay, waiting for me to quiet down again, waiting for me to turn down the world and turn my face toward you. And when I do, you are always there, So today, let my ears be open. Let my heart be soft. Let my spirit be alert and aware that you are speaking. Always speaking. Through it all. Through joy and struggle. Through silence and song. Through scripture and stillness. And I will listen not because I have mastered it, but because I love you. And I want to know you more. And to know you, I must hear you. So speak. Father, my heart is ready, God, as I continue to walk in the quiet stillness of this morning. I feel the lingering warmth of your nearness. The echoes of yesterday's prayers still stir in my chest, but today feels like a fresh canvas, brushed with possibility. It is not because circumstances have shifted, or because all questions have been answered, but because your presence alone brings a sacred clarity. You are my anchor when emotions surge like restless tides. And today, I lean into you once more, not with demanding pleas, but with the steady hope that you are enough for whatever lies ahead. There is something indescribable about waking up and realizing you are already here. Already listening. Already moving within the corners of my thoughts, before I can shape them into words. Father, that kind of nearness humbles me. It softens the edges of my striving and replaces the weight of perfectionism with the ease of grace. I come with no polished performance, just my open heart raw. Longing. Grateful. I surrender the part of me that still believes I have to earn peace. I release the tendency to outrun anxiety by doing more. Instead, I choose to be held, to be still, to be known. And as I rest in this stillness, I ask for eyes to see beyond what is visible. Give me discernment to recognize what is rooted in truth and what is born from fear. There are moments when the day's demands begin whispering before my feet touch the floor. But I want to hear you first. Let your voice be louder than my to-do list, gentler than my inner critic, and more enduring than my uncertainty. Speak into the cracks where my confidence leaks. Whisper courage into the places that still tremble. Replace urgency with assurance. Lord, as I prepare to meet people today, family, friends, strangers, help me to carry compassion like a second skin. Let kindness be instinctive, not effortful. Remind me that behind every face is a story I cannot see, a silent battle I may never understand. Teach me not to rush past the sacred pauses you place before me. Whether it is the cashier who looks tired or the friend who does not speak their burden aloud, tune my heart to notice. Help me to be fully present where I am instead of chasing where I think I should be. There are days when I carry quiet disappointments that I cannot put into words. Delays that unsettle my hope. Doors that remain closed no matter how many prayers I have whispered through their cracks. And still, I choose to believe you are good, not because everything feels good, but because you are with me in the tension, in the waiting, in the space between promise and fulfillment. I may not understand the pace of your plan, but I can rest in the character of the one who holds it. Father, when fear whispers worst-case scenarios and anxiety magnifies the unknown, breathe truth back into my lungs. I do not want to be led by what frightens me. I want to be led by what is eternal. I want to live today with a posture of trust, open hands, not clenched fists. Remind me that surrender is not weakness, but strength rooted in wisdom. Strength that does not rely on control, but on faith that you see the whole picture, even when I only see fragments. Teach me to slow down enough to delight again, to notice the colors in the sky, the warmth of coffee in my hands, the sound of laughter, the way light dances on the floor. Let gratitude rewire the patterns of my thoughts, so I stop measuring success in outcomes and start finding wonder in moments. May I not miss the sacred tucked in the ordinary. And when I do stumble into frustration or distraction, gently redirect me without shame. Pull me back to this place where joy grows quietly and deeply. God, I confess that sometimes I pray for change around me, when the change I need most is within me. Shift my mindset, soften my judgments, stretch my patience, make me less reactive and more reflective. Help me to respond instead of retaliate. Help me to listen before I speak, to wait before I worry, and to trust before I doubt. Grow within me the fruit that no storm can steal, peace that passes understanding, joy not bound by circumstances, love without condition. Even when I feel weak, remind me that strength is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of your spirit within it. Give me strength that does not just survive the day, but lives it fully. Strength to face the uncomfortable, to forgive the undeserving, to persevere through the mundane, to remain kind even when unappreciated. And when my strength runs low, let me not hide my exhaustion, but bring it to you, where it can be exchanged for something deeper than endurance renewal. Lord, I give you this day not the version I imagined, but the real one unfolding, with its interruptions, imperfections, and unknowns. I place every hour in your hands and ask that you infuse it with purpose, even in the parts that seem quiet or repetitive. Help me to measure the value of this day, not by productivity, but by your presence in me, through me, around me. Let that be enough. Let that be everything. Father, as the rhythm of this morning continues, my soul leans into the gentle steadiness of your grace. The journey of each prayer carries me further from restlessness and closer to peace, like footsteps toward the shoreline where waves meet still earth. There is a quiet shift happening within me, subtle but sure, as if my spirit is remembering what it forgot during the night, that I am not alone, not without help, not without hope. Your presence is not a distant echo. It is the current underneath everything, unseen but always moving. God, in this moment, I feel the sacredness of the ordinary, this space, this breath, this quiet heartbeat. I bring to you not only the grand dreams and aching hopes, but also the small tasks, the quiet frustrations, and the often overlooked moments that fill my day. Teach me to revere the small beginnings, the unnoticed offerings, the gestures that seem insignificant, but carry eternal weight. Let me not measure the worth of this day by the size of my accomplishments, but by the depth of my love and the softness of my spirit. There are so many unseen battles, both in the world and within myself, and I cannot face them with human strength alone. Lord, be my hidden source, the well that never runs dry, when I feel depleted before the day even begins. Refill me with your presence, not only to carry on, but to carry others. Help me be someone who does not just move through the day, but who brings life into it, someone whose words are water to the thirsty, and whose silence makes space for healing. Even when I am uncertain, let love flow through me freely. Sometimes the greatest victory is not found in achieving more, but in releasing what I was never meant to hold. Father, show me what I have clung to out of fear-old narratives. Buried shame, imagined control, and help me loosen my grip. Teach me the sacred art of letting go, not as a loss, but as an act of trust. Help me surrender the need to predict every outcome, to fix what only you can restore, and to prove myself in places where you have already called me enough. Let me rest in the identity you have spoken over me. God, when my thoughts begin to wander into doubt or comparison, gently draw me back. Bring me back to the simplicity of your truth, that I am loved without performance, chosen without striving, cherished without condition. Let that truth be the lens through which I see myself and others. May I see through the eyes of grace rather than suspicion. Speak from compassion instead of critique, and lead with gentleness, not guardedness. Make me slow to judge and quick to understand. Today, I ask for wisdom, not just for the big decisions, but for the countless small ones that shape the direction of my life. Help me choose words that heal, priorities that reflect what matters, and actions that are aligned with truth. Help me know when to step forward with boldness and when to wait with patience. Fill the spaces between instinct and response with discernment. Let my intuition be shaped not by fear or pride, but by the steady influence of your Spirit. Father, in the midst of my routine, help me guard my heart from dullness. Let me not grow numb to beauty or indifferent to grace. Awaken me with wonder, even in the familiar. Show me again how remarkable it is to breathe, to feel, to connect, to live with purpose. Teach me how to celebrate small victories, how to hold sacred even the repetitive patterns of daily life, and how to find meaning in places that others overlook. May my life not be driven by novelty, but by depth. And when I encounter disappointment today, remind me that is not the end of the story. Help me to respond with resilience rather than resentment. Let setbacks become sacred ground where faith deepens and humility grows. Give me the perspective to see beyond this moment, to recognize that delay is not denial and that silence is not abandonment. You are always working, even when I cannot trace your hand. Help me to wait with open hands and an open heart, knowing that nothing surrendered to you is wasted. Lord, I also ask for joy, not the fleeting kind that depends on ease or applause, but the enduring kind that runs deeper than circumstance. Let joy surprise me in ordinary moments. A kind word, a shared smile, a deep breath, a sudden laugh. Help me cultivate joy the way one tends a garden patiently, intentionally, and with expectation. Let it grow even in difficult soil, and when shadows stretch across my thoughts. May joy be the candle that keeps burning, never demanding attention but always quietly illuminating the way. God, I place this day into your hands once more, not with fear, but with faith, not as a transaction, but as an offering. I do not need to see the full path to take the next step, and I do not need to have all the answers to walk in peace. I only need to remain near to you, for where you are, there is fullness, Where you are, there is rest. Where you are, there is enough. Let my life today be an echo of your grace. Lord, as I continue to breathe in the stillness you have cultivated within me, I realize that everything around me begins to feel lighter, not because circumstances have changed, but because you are anchoring my soul in something deeper than circumstance. What I carry this morning is no longer a burden, but a sacred weight, a reminder that I am entrusted with a day that will never come again. And so, I ask you to make me faithful in the small, intentional in the fleeting, and fully present in the places my feet will walk. God, it humbles me to think how much of life happens in unnoticed exchanges, in the quiet glance that comforts, in the pause before speaking, in the inner decision to stay kind when emotions threaten to harden. These are not small things in your kingdom. These are the seeds you ask me to sow. And today, with open hands and an open spirit, I ask you to make me mindful of them. Don't let me rush past the moments where heaven quietly touches earth. Help me become someone who sees through surface noise into the heart of what is eternal. Father, there is something sacred about starting over. Each morning you give is not just a continuation, but a fresh creation. I do not have to carry yesterday's regrets like chains in today's grace. You do not require me to fix what has already been forgiven or to earn what has already been given. So help me walk freely into the hours ahead, not reckless, but released. Let peace be the undercurrent of everything I do, not because of perfection, because I know who holds this day from beginning to end. Lord, even in my unspoken fears, you are already speaking comfort. You know the thoughts that never form into words, the worries that tighten silently in my chest, the uncertainties that creep in before I even fully wake. But you are not overwhelmed by my uncertainty. You meet it with unshaken calm. Help me absorb that calm, like sunlight warming a cold room. Fill the inner spaces where fear once echoed with the steady presence of your assurance. Let me move forward not with bravado, but with quiet confidence that you are already where I am going. God, some days I feel like I am holding too many things, obligations, emotions, expectations, hopes, and I fear that if I let go, everything will fall apart. But you gently remind me that surrender is not the same as collapse. Surrender is holy trust, so I choose, right now, to release the weight I was never meant to manage alone. I give you what I cannot carry, the outcomes, the unknowns, the people I love but cannot fix. You are not asking me to abandon care. You are inviting me to walk in grace. Father, let my thoughts today be guided by your truth. When anxiety tries to write a false script for my day, replace it with clarity and stillness. When frustration whispers a narrative of bitterness, rewrite it with compassion. Let my inner dialogue be shaped by grace, seasoned with wisdom, and aligned with hope. And when my mind drifts into self-doubt, help me remember that I am not defined by my worst moment, nor by fleeting opinions, but by the voice that called me worthy before I took my first breath. Lord, there will be people I encounter today who carry invisible battles. Some will be polished on the outside, but breaking on the inside. Help me be gentle with them, Teach me to listen more than I speak, to notice more than I assume, and to bless more than I criticize. May my presence be safe space for those who feel unseen. Let me be generous with patience, extravagant with grace, and sincere in every word I offer. I do not need to have the answers. I only need to be present and kind. God, I ask for endurance not only for the big storms, but for the slow hours, the repetitive tasks, the emotional weight that accumulates without warning. Let my strength not come from caffeine or sheer will, but from deep dependence on you. Help me pause when I feel overwhelmed, breathe when I feel hurried, and return to the quiet when noise tries to take over. Teach me how to work from a place of rest rather than rushing toward approval. Show me how to remain rooted while moving forward. Father, even in this season where some things feel unresolved, help me live with hope that does not require proof, hope that blooms even in shadows, hope that keeps looking up, even when answers seem delayed. Teach me how to carry unanswered prayers not as losses, but as sacred mysteries still unfolding. Help me believe that just because I can't see the fruit today does not mean the roots are not growing. Help me remain faithful in what feels unseen. Lord, thank you for the way you reveal beauty in unexpected places. A quiet sunrise, a kind message, a lingering moment of laughter. Help me not to dismiss these moments as fleeting. Let them anchor me. Help me collect beauty like manna, just enough for today, knowing you will provide again tomorrow. May I never become numb to wonder, even in routine. Show me that the more I notice, the more I will realize how extravagantly you fill even the ordinary with grace. God, remind me again that I do not need to earn your presence today. I only need to notice it. You are not distant, waiting for perfection. You are near, whispering through silence, revealing yourself in simplicity, offering peace before I ask. Let this awareness change how I show up in my conversations, in my work, in the way I move through space. Let presence be my posture. Let peace be my default. Let love be my offering. And as the day unfolds, hour by hour, help me measure its success not by how much I accomplished, but by how deeply I loved, how gently I responded, and how often I turned my heart toward you. Let the ordinary become holy not because it is loud, but because it is lived with intention. Let this day be enough, because it is full of you. Father, as I let your peace shape my rhythm today, I realize that the most sacred moments are not the loud ones, but the quiet spaces where my spirit aligns with yours. I am learning that holiness does not always look like grandeur. It often breathes in the pause before a choice, in the whisper before a word is spoken, in the breath I take before responding. You are teaching me that this is how transformation happens, not through force or urgency, but through stillness that allows you to shape what I offer to the world. Lord, sometimes I wonder how much beauty I have missed in my rush to do, to fix, to prove. But now, I want to live differently. I want to walk slowly enough to notice the light that falls across the floor, the breeze that brushes my skin, the way laughter rises unexpectedly between tasks. These are not distractions from purpose. They are glimpses of eternity embedded in the now. Open my eyes so I won't overlook them. Let awareness become my prayer and gratitude my language. Even before I speak a single word aloud, God, you have shown me that mercy is a river that never runs dry. I do not draw from it once and then leave it behind. I stand in it continually, learning how to let it carry me when I grow weary of trying to hold myself up. Teach me to extend that same mercy to others, not because they always deserve it by human standards, but because I have been drenched in it beyond measure. Let grace be the atmosphere I create, not through perfection, but through compassion that chooses understanding over pride. Father, some days I feel the tension between hope and reality. I carry promises in one hand and unanswered questions in the other. But even here, you are teaching me to walk not waiting for every mystery to be solved, but trusting you enough to move forward anyway. Let faith rise in me not as a loud declaration, but as a quiet certainty that you are near, you are working, and you waste nothing, not even the moments that feel incomplete. Help me keep walking, one faithful step at a time. Lord, you have been faithful in ways I have not always recognized. In the prayers I forgot I prayed, in the doors that closed gently before I walked into pain, in the delays that protected me from detours, in the people who showed up with kindness, just when I needed it. Today, help me remember. Let remembrance become the lens through which I interpret what I cannot yet see. Let memory stir up praise. Let history with you write hope into my present moment. God, I bring you the relationships that stretch and challenge me. The ones where misunderstanding lingers, where distance has grown, where unspoken wounds still echo. I do not know how to mend everything, but I believe you can soften hearts, open paths, and guide words. Make me brave enough to reach out, humble enough to listen, and wise enough to know when to let go. Help me release control without abandoning love. May reconciliation begin in me, even if the other is not ready yet. Father, the pressures of today may come with loud demands, but I ask you to help me carry a quiet spirit. Let me be grounded, not reactive, anchored, not scattered. I want to speak from centeredness, not from hurry. Let my actions come from clarity, not from the need to prove. Show me how to move with calm purpose, to choose what matters instead of chasing everything at once, to honor the tasks before me without losing the soul within them. Lord, protect my joy today, not the fleeting kind that comes from circumstance, but the deep joy that grows in surrender. Let me find delight in simplicity, not because everything is easy, but because you are present in the ordinary. Joy that is not shaken by bad news. Joy that hums quietly beneath sorrow. Joy that reminds me this life is a gift, even when it feels heavy. Let joy be my resistance to despair and my declaration that light still breaks through. God, when comparison tries to steal my peace, remind me that my story was never meant to match anyone else's. You have crafted a path for me with purpose, with timing, with grace stitched into every chapter. I do not need to chase someone else's finish line. I do not need to measure my value against what I see. Teach me to celebrate others without questioning my worth. Teach me to stay in my lane with joy, and knowing that what you have for me is enough. Father, give me courage to be real today, to show up honestly, not hiding behind polished answers or tired masks. Let my vulnerability invite connection. Let my honesty foster healing. And when I feel weak, help me remember that weakness is not failure, it is the space where your strength is most visible. Let me be unafraid of my humanity, because I am held by a God who sees it fully and loves without condition. Lord, I pray for the ones I love, their burdens, their questions, their hopes, their needs I cannot fix. I place them into your hands, not because I am letting go of care, but because you hold them more securely than I ever could. Cover them with peace. Guard their hearts. Open doors I cannot open. Close the ones not meant for them. And in the in-between, give them the assurance that they are never walking alone. God, I also lift up the ones I find difficult to love, the ones who push my patience, who wound without awareness, who mirror my own brokenness in uncomfortable ways. Teach me to see beyond the tension. Help me remember that every person is someone you created and cherish. Give me eyes to see potential where I once saw frustration. Give me words that do not wound. Give me the grace to forgive, not because it erases hurt, but because it releases my soul from bitterness. Father, when silence stretches too long and answers seem delayed, help me rest in the truth that you are not absent. You are not punishing me with quiet. Sometimes silence is how you draw me into deeper listening. Sometimes what feels like waiting is actually preparation. Let me trust your pace. Let me hold space for hope without demanding proof. Let me sit with you, even when I do not understand, because your presence is still my greatest comfort. Lord, remind me that being faithful in little things is not small in your eyes. Whether I am cleaning a space, replying to a message, caring for someone unnoticed, or simply showing up again, I want to do it with heart. Not because anyone sees, but because you do. Let every task be sacred. Let every moment be offered. Let every act carry eternal significance when done in love. And when I feel unseen, let me remember that I am never invisible to you. Lord, as this morning prayer draws near its final breath, I pause not to end a journey, but to breathe in all the grace you have given throughout every word, every quiet longing, every moment of stillness wrapped in surrender. You have walked with me gently through each chapter of thought and feeling, guiding me like a shepherd leading his sheep through valley and meadow, through shadows and sunlight, never leaving my side. And now, standing in this sacred stillness, I let my soul settle into the peace of knowing that you remain unchanging, unwavering, and always near. Father, I do not leave this place as I came. I carry something deeper, something truer than what I could name when this began. You have spoken into corners of me that I forgot existed, places I locked away beneath layers of noise and distraction. You peeled them back not with force, but with the kind of love that waits, the kind that never shouts but is always heard. And I see now you were not merely listening to my prayers. You were shaping me with them, sculpting something quiet and strong beneath the surface. God, in these long and tender moments, I have discovered that healing often looks like breathing slower, like forgiving again, like believing in small beginnings. And as I whisper these final lines into the morning air, I do not feel finished, I feel ready. Ready to live out what I have spoken. ready to walk in the gentleness I have asked for, ready to carry this prayer, not as a ritual, but as a rhythm. Let it echo through every decision, every word I say, every silence I honor, every person I meet today. Lord, there is still so much I do not know, so many uncertainties that will meet me in the hours ahead, but I am no longer afraid of them. I do not need all the answers when I know the one who holds them. I do not need to predict the path when I walk with the one who designed it. Even in the tension between faith and doubt, I choose to trust, not because it is easy, but because you have proven yourself worthy of trust time and time again. Father, for every listener who has walked with me through this journey, thank you. Thank you for the unseen moments when something stirred in their spirit, for the quiet tears that fell without words, for the weight that lifted when surrender found its voice, for the courage to keep showing up, to keep believing, to keep hoping, even when it was hard. You know each heart intimately. You see their longings, their battles, their victories no one else claps for. Wrap them now in your peace that does not always explain, but always holds. God, I pray this prayer never truly ends. I pray it lives in the spaces between the noise, in the glance toward the sky, in the kindness offered when no one is watching, in the moment someone chooses peace instead of pride. I pray it ripples through households, through city streets, through silent commutes and shared meals and morning walks. Let it breathe in the ordinary and blossom in the unexpected. Let it draw hearts back to you not out of obligation, but because they have tasted something sacred and want more. Lord, as we part from these words, I ask you to plant in us a hunger for your presence that nothing else can satisfy. Let it awaken before alarm clocks. Let it whisper when anxiety rises. Let it comfort in the loneliness. Let it anchor when storms come. May this hunger not fade when the words stop, but grow stronger in the quiet that follows. May it become the voice that says, "Come closer still." Father, remind each heart listening that they are not alone, that they are seen in the middle of their mess, loved when they feel unlovable, chosen even when they feel discarded, forgiven when shame whispers otherwise. Remind them that your grace is not earned, it is poured out, not rationed, it is overflowing, not temporary, it is the everlasting current of who you are. Let them rest in that truth, not just today, but every day they rise to breathe again. God, may faith take root in them like a seed that refuses to stay buried. Let it push through doubt. Let it break through fear. Let it grow in silence, bloom in hardship, and stretch toward heaven when the night feels long. Let them remember that faith does not need to shout. It only needs to stay. And when it stays, it transforms everything. Lord, for the one who has listened quietly and questioned if their voice matters, assure them now that it does. You hear even the prayers that are too soft to speak aloud. You catch every sigh. You translate every tear. And you respond not with judgment, but with mercy. Let them know that their journey is holy, even if it is hidden. That progress is being made, even if it is slow. That grace is being written, even in the waiting. Father, teach us to return to this place, not just here, in this prayer, but in our posture. Let us learn to live bowed in spirit, even while we stand tall in life. Let us live open, available, aware. Let this not be a moment we visited, but a place we have decided to dwell, a sanctuary within, where you are always welcome and we are always received. To everyone who has remained until now, thank you. Thank you for carrying these words with your heart, not just your ears, for letting the sacred find a home within you. This was never just a script, it was a journey. One that moved through valleys of doubt, meadows of trust, hills of joy, rivers of healing. You stayed through all of it, and that is no small thing. If this prayer touched your heart, if it gave you strength, clarity, or peace, I invite you to share what you felt below. Your testimony might be the encouragement someone else desperately needs. Your vulnerability could be the bridge to someone else's breakthrough. And if this journey has blessed you, subscribe to this channel to continue nurturing your faith each morning. Share this prayer with someone who needs it. Let your voice be part of a rising chorus of faith. Let these words not just be heard, but lived. Let the light we have encountered here be carried into homes, into workplaces, into quiet corners where hope needs a spark. This prayer may find its pause here, but its echo will continue through your life. Your choices, your love. Let it carry like wind through tall grass, soft but certain. Let it glimmer like sunlight sliding across a dewdrop. Let it flow like living water over dry ground, renewing all it touches. Let it linger like the hush before dawn, when the first gold light begins to rise.